Hi folks. So today we are finishing off the stream with the build. We are finishing off Gelt successfully. We are gonna murder Yuan Bo. Where is my boy? Okay, he's currently dead. So we'll be slightly delayed on that program. But we are just positioning ourselves over. We are waiting for Yuan Bo to get the final piece we need for our Gelt. We have collected most of the useful traits, and we're really just going to make a test run by deleting Sail from existence. Right now, ignore that Kugaf is with Norska, that is a mod thing. But right now we are just waiting for Gelt to show up. Hey, Ali, how you doing? Hi. What's up? So we're just finishing off quite a long run with Gelt. I'm just gonna I'm just waiting for whatchamacallit, Yuan Bo to show up, and that will be the main event for today. We'll have the final skill we need. If you don't know, Yuan Bo is disgusting on wizards, and we are gonna collect that skill by betraying my dear ally here. An act of treachery. Oh, thanks. I appreciate. What video do you want me to? What guide do you want me to make, or what would you want to see from me? I'm curious. It's always good to get feedback. And what do you enjoy playing in the game? I really need to work on getting YouTube up on screen. You don't pop up on screen like Twitch does. I really need to work on that. I'm still new at the whole streaming thing, but also at the whole YouTube thing, to be entirely honest with myself. But yeah, just working on an economy. It doesn't. Even though I'm probably gonna end this after I've built him, I don't think I'm gonna I finish this. I just saw the size of Grimgore's empire, and it's like, Dark Elves. I'm gonna be honest. Dark Elves are really not my specialty, but I'll definitely give it. I'll give it a go at some point, because you know there's a lot going on there. I don't. It doesn't click for me, you know. Don't get me wrong. They are strong. I know they're strong, and shades are incredible, right? It's just it doesn't have the spice for me. It's not like that I even enjoy like bad guy factions. I love Skaven, right? I'm not so much of a Satan worshiper in this game, but like, yeah, I appreciate Ali. Yeah. So actually, next stream after this one is I'm gonna be playing Tamarcon. I'm gonna be playing Tamarcon next. That will be the stream after this one, and I'll be doing it on the Old World mod, which, if you don't know, is this like massive mega map, way bigger than this one. So that is like the objective. After that, really just like conquering the world, probably not the whole world, obviously, but like having a good run on that. So let's start off with a good fight. I have over 108 mana. That will do more than enough. Yeah, we'll win. But yeah, once again, we don't even have the last skill I want on Gelt, and we're already gonna delete Kugaf. I am a little bit at risk because my army is not the strongest. Like, I don't have Gotrek. So a lot of people have two different theories. When you're running a wizard stack as Gelt, the usual recommendation is you get a shadow wizard because he has stock, and then with a shadow wizard with stock, you can just avoid fighting. But I find that to be less good than the other option, which is that you get a Gotrek. And Gotrek acts as the anvil to the formation, basically, where they will group up on Gotrek, being hopefully the only land guy you have, and then from there, you just cast magic on the blob that will form. And that is like the best way to do it, in my opinion. But mixed opinions on that. I personally prefer it. At the end of the day, I don't think either way really matters. We don't really care about them. Now, they do have a few chimeras. Chimeras are disgusting. It's one of those like DLC units that, like, goddamn, there is power creep in this game. If you don't know, they really, they do magic damage, flaming damage, poison damage. They have quite a lot of resistances, and they're really small, which is what you want to see on a single entity in this game. Like, that's the issue with Tamarcon, right? Is that Tamarcon is massive, and because of that, he actually like gets shot really easily. But these things here, they really hurt. They really hurt. Now, once again, we do disgusting damage, so it doesn't matter so much. We'll kill him. That's one down. I just have to kill the other one over there. And easy. That's the concern, you know, when you get to a level of power that's just too high at some point, you don't tend to fear them anymore. I appreciate. Um, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I need to do. For now, it's like I have my I have a few like long form video takes a long time to edit. You know, it's one thing you hear about when you don't do YouTube is like, oh, editing takes forever. And then you actually do editing. It's like, oh boy. Okay, there is quite a lot to do. Oh my god, I love that blob. Okay, let me just cast there, and let me just super cast on Kugaf. But yeah. Dark, like, yeah, once again, I read, recently, I was reading the End Times book for Malekith, because I've been reading through End Times. Hey, Tarny, how you doing? Streaming a little bit earlier than usual today, I just couldn't sleep. But I've been reading through the, like, the End Times book for Malekith, and it's like, you know, he solos Scarbrand. You know, that is something, right? Like, he's not all bad here. And, like, they do a good job trying to make him, like, more of, like, I'm evil because, like, my, you know, the people around me are evil, and if I'm not as evil as they are, I'm gonna be murdered. I'm not quite sure I buy it, because then I after that I read it in the wrong order, right? I read the Teclis and Tyrion and Teclis books, and he's a little bit more evil. Do I have any tips for Heinrich Kemmler? I'm gonna be honest, no, I can't say I do. Like, my recommendation for playing, let me delete that before it gets to me. My recommendations for playing, whatchamacallit, vampire counts is generally to play Isabella. Out of them, she's by far the best one, in my opinion. But I don't tend to play them that much, I'm gonna be honest. Once again, if it tends to be my, like, bad guy factions, I tend to not play them as much in general. So your, you know, your, once again, mostly your chaos, but I do play vampire count. I have played them. I have done, like, I think everybody tries it once, right? I have tried World War Z with what's his face? Zombie boy. Helmengorst. And, like, that's fun, right? Helmengorst is a very fun campaign, but you do it once because the main issue with Helmen, right, is that you end up having to manually fight everything, and you don't want to end up doing that more than once. But it's fun when you try it once. And then once again, I did Isabella. That was what I did. Who do you think needs to, I think Vampire Coast. Like, Vampire Coast as a faction is really cool in concept. Like, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean's one, the faction, their units, like some of their endgame units are fun, but they're like, their base infantry and their how the faction plays, I find to be really underwhelming. Okay, we need a cast on Ulrika because she's gonna get swamped down in a second. I want to hide the rest of my wizards because they're not exactly trained up. Ulrika should hold though. She does have like melee healing and other stuff, right? But let's still free her. Out of like Dark Elves would be another one that I like. I think could use a little bit of a tweak. I don't think it's that they are so bad per se. It's just that they need a little bit more more spice, a little bit more oomph. Adding those more like Slanesh stuff to Marathi was a good thing. No, well, the good news about Tomb Kings is Tomb Kings are getting a rework because Nagash is coming. So Nagash will come with Tomb Kings units, and obviously he'll add in other end time stuff. So, you know, you'll get your Skaven and your Empire and all of that. But don't worry, if you like Tomb Kings and you think Tomb Kings and a little bit more, there's a lot more Tomb Kings coming. You're good there. It'll be a good time. That's no problem. Oh, I forgot this guy heals. So yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time killing him. Simply because he's gonna out heal my massive damage. Okay, I actually already hit his healing cap. Turns out 1 or 2 more casts and I got him. In the meanwhile though, let me take Ulrika. Let me speed boost her and let me go shoot at Kugaf. But yeah, I think Tomb Kings are covered soon. I'm gonna be honest, I am looking forward to out of that update. I'm definitely looking forward to Skaven, and I'm looking forward to whatchamacallit. I'm looking forward to Empire. But those are my specialties. But the massive scare, if you haven't seen the like trailer for what they're gonna do for Tomb Kings, they have this like massive mega scarab unit, and that looks pretty cool. I look forward to trying that out on a map. It's massive. It'll be fun. But they play really well. They reach that thing where like you have relatively quick access to their cool units. Because I think that's the difference between like Tomb Kings and Vampire counts. It's like Tomb Kings, you get access to their unique units relatively soon. You can get some Ushapti, you can get the Scorpion, which are both like really good units. Especially that Scorpion is like, you know, you look at the damage, and you look at the stats and you think, maybe not the best, right? But then in actual like performance, it is really good just because it like, it has its animations, it moves a lot, right? So it like goes in and out of fights and it like doesn't connect with units very well. So you actually get like a really good result out of it, much better than you'd think. Where are my wizards? Over there. Okay, they're not in danger. Ulrika needs to skirmish mode. What is that? Ah, okay. That's a summon. I don't know how he got that, but I'll just accept that he got that. So that's the thing. She could use a Blood Knight stack. Hopefully they're gonna make it. Yeah, like a lot of Dark Elves don't have much unique going on, and that's something that they've definitely learned, because you know Carl used to have that issue where Carl was a very fun campaign, but Carl didn't have anything unique going on. And it was actually funny because Balthasar Gelt in the old way used to be the better way to play Carl. If you wanted to play basically Carl's faction but you wanted to have a better time, you played old Gelt. Old Gelt basically did what new Gelt does, what Carl does, but he had like extra armor when you're starting army, which like was a huge deal. So because like for Empire infantry having like plus 20 armor, that's a huge quality of life upgrade right there. Now these days obviously Gelt is, you know, Captain Wizard Man, and he's doing his own like wizard things, right? But originally Gelt was just Carl but better. We are kind of struggling here. We've got enough magic to kill once we kill Kugaf, he'll be fine. Let's just be fast about this. We don't quite have the raw DPS because we don't have enough wizards in the stack to and also probably is pretty tough. What are his resistances? How much does he resist spells? 20% spell resist and then another 18% ward save. Yeah, no wonder we're having a hard time cracking him. We'll get him though. That's a problem though. I need you to keep running, please. One more cast. And yeah. So that's my main perspective on. I really hope they do. The issue is they don't have a lot of units to add. So Dark Elves tend to rework, like CA tends to rework things that they actively like are gonna like get DLC for. But I don't think Dark Elves have that much missing to their roster, which is the main issue, right? And I guess it's part of why they didn't get anything in Shadows of Change, right? And Tides of Torment, like why they didn't get picked. Because they do need it. I think everybody agrees that they could use a little tweak. I still don't think that the selection they picked for Shadows of Change was good. That's a good question. I think it depends on the next DLC. And it's a bit of a toxic situation because you don't want to be like, oh, I need to buy a DLC to keep my game alive. Because no. You make DLC like it's good or bad on its own merits, right? But like, if they make a good DLC and it sells well, then they will be like, okay, there's money to be made here. We'll keep making content. If they make let me just kill him off. If they make a bad DLC or it doesn't sell well or doesn't sell up to expectations or whatever it is they have in mind, I'm gonna lose by trying to melee him, but I don't want to waste more magic to kill him. Okay, turns out I managed just fine. If they make a bad DLC and it doesn't sell well, or like it doesn't have the spice, or it doesn't have whatever the issue is gonna be, right? If it's lacking in any way, and they get poor sales, they will, as much as they said, oh, we'll keep working on it, they will give up on it and they'll go focus on 40k. You might not like that, but it is. Let me send Ulrika into melee, but that is realistically what's going to happen. We're out of magic, so we have 3 more casts of Searing Doom, and I can overcast it for 2. So let me send Ulrika into melee, and then blob them up, and then I'll cast them. So that's the thing, right? It's like if they feel like their back's against the wall, they will just give up on the game, which obviously we don't want. but you don't want to be in like the situation where it's like, oh, buy our bad DLC, because some of their DLC has been actively bad, just because like, if you don't, we'll give up on the game. That's not a healthy like consumer relationship, and you don't want to encourage that kind of thing. So mixed thoughts. At the end of the day, I think it is relatively hard to mess up Nagash, Fanquil, and hopefully Empire DLC. Empire DLC always sells, so hopefully they'll be happy with the results, and we will get good results. I'm gonna do my first cast. Vampire Coast have so little that made up new legendary lords. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot going. I don't know what they can add. That's the thing. I agree with you. Is like, I'm not sure what they add to it. I think we're gonna retreat and just get some more magic, and then we'll fight the rest of this army. Because we don't have like Gotrek. If I had Gotrek, this would be fine. I'd just pull him out of the forest. Let's retreat. But yeah, like I don't know what you add. I don't think there'll be a big focus. Maybe there'll be like a free LC, because like right now it'll be Skaven, it'll be Nurgle, and it will be Empire will be the DLC for End Times. I mean, if they're doing it properly. Who knows? There've been times when CA's made concerning decisions, right? As for it, was the last DLC good or bad? That's a good question. Now, I've only really played Acelin so far, and I don't find Acelin to be that exciting. I think Acelin is competent, but his units don't add a lot. Like, his campaign is unique, and that's good. I don't think it's very well balanced. I don't think they did a lot of time balancing it properly. So that's the first issue, right? Is like, more could have been done there. And then second of all, the second issue of it is, I think Sail is powerful. I think Sail is definitely the one where they were like, okay, let's boost the power. And I have issues with like, hey, let's just make DLC that's more better than the base faction because it'll sell better. But Sail seems to be quite fun. His units, like the chimeras that they add to his faction, are disgusting. I think especially in like multiplayer, like a human player could do a lot with some chimeras. So that's good, right? Yeah, the Slaanesh focus is good, but I don't think that's good for the company, if that makes sense. I don't think Slaanesh has quite the audience that they need to like keep their game going. I just don't. I don't think that there's like enough Slaanesh players in the whole world to really like keep a DLC going with the amount of like money they're bleeding. That's the main issue. Is like they're bleeding money all the time, right? So let me actually add one magic skill on her just in case we do need to. So it's like, okay, you worked on Slaanesh in an emergency situation. Is that really what you should be doing with your time? That's the main question. Is like, they are bleeding money, and that bleeding money is supposedly what causes them to make. I shouldn't be sinking so many points into scouting. You only need one lord with scouting. That's supposedly why they are, like, their men so slow, because they've been changing their focus and they don't have a lot of money because they lost it all on hyenas. But then they go and make Slaanesh and Norska DLC, and it's like, really? Is that really what you should be focusing on? Because like, if you told me, hey, Max, you are in charge of CA, we need you to make $1 billion for the company. It's like, okay, here's my Skaven DLC, and then after that, here's my Empire DLC, and then they're kind of running out of dwarfs. There's a few things they could do for dwarfs, but you do like Skaven, you do Empire, you do a Lizardman rework, because Lizardmen actually have a healthy player base. It's just like, if you're a Lizardman fan, you're really starved for content. That's your main issue. But like, they do have a healthy population. I think that would sell well. Like, bigger factions. That's like, you really need to work. I think like Dogs of War, like people like, oh, they should release Dogs of War. I think that, I suspect that's might be more of a meme. I'm not sure how. Look, I don't know. I haven't been like, the issue, like, you have to realize like how much of it is like a community meme and how much of it is an actual reality. I think there's like the Reddit audience that will be like there for it, but the Reddit audience is not most of the customer base. And I think the Reddit audience likes to forget that. Is like, Reddit likes to think of themselves like everybody on Reddit represents the entire fan base. And it's like, no, Reddit represents a very hardcore section of the fan base, and you have to listen to them because they do matter, but they listen to them too much. So that's not good. So, good point. Do you think 3 to 4 playable lords per DLC is enough? I think it is. The issue is, so think about this. Use unit to, it's a good choice. Yeah, I agree that like adding units, so like Once again, if you add like if you're a Beastman player, you don't get a direct DLC because there's not a lot going on for Beastman. But just simply by like existing, they get content, so it makes the Beastman players have to go get other faction DLC. That is a good strategy. But back to my point. The issue is not 3 to 4 lords. I think 3 to 4 lords is fine. I think even releasing 1 lord is fine. But what is important is you balance out popular faction and unpopular faction. And if you do unpopular faction, do make him fun. For example, look at Thrones of Decay. You had Empire, huge seller. You had Malachi, also a big seller, right? But where it stumbled a little bit and where it needed a little bit of push was Tamarkon. Because Nurgle, before Tamarkon, probably it didn't have a huge player base. Nurgle's entire skill line, like technology tree, was built around like living on Realms of Chaos campaign and not actually built for Immortal Empire. He had a bunch of things for like snowy regions and he was like down south, right? But Tamarkon is such a good campaign and such a fun campaign that it made people buy Nurgle, made people buy into Nurgle, and Nurgle is now a very popular faction. So, but the thing is, they balanced that out between 2 popular, 1 unpopular. And honestly, same with, I'm not beating that. I am not beating that. There's way too many chimeras for me to even risk that. It's the same with like, I forget its name. Let me just ignore that. It's the same with the not Thrones of Chaos, but the Kislev DLC. Whose name is escaping me right now. But you know the DLC where they did Kislev, why is my brain not working? Kislev, Cafe, and Zeech is like 2 popular factions. Because I don't tend to like Kislev that much, but Kislev is very popular. The player statistics say that Kislev is very popular. So releasing Kislev was smart. And then you release Cafe, which has a huge player base. People really like their Cafe. And then you mix that in with Zeech, which is unpopular. And then you run once, and then you do Tides of Torment. So Tides of Torment at Ogres. And it had Corn. Corn is popular. People like their Unga Bunga. And then they like Greenskins. Greenskins is popular. So once again, you do a 2 to 1 ratio of like popular to unpopular. And that's generally how they've done things. But now they did this one where you have High Elves, very popular. But then you mix it with Zeech, with Slanesh. And you mixed it with what's the third one? My brain is not working. I really like, I didn't sleep so much tonight. So it's like, oh, I might as well stream. But like, I'm starting to like feel my brain's not working good. But you mix it with Slanesh and you mix it with Norska. Norska, obviously before rework, things are different now. But before rework was like massively underwhelming. Thank you. I appreciate it. I got it. But yeah, Norska is not people's favorite faction because Norska used to be terrible. I think Norska is better now and I'm glad that they fixed it, right? But like, those are 2 unpopular factions that they are mixing in with 1 popular faction. And that's not been their formula. And I think that was the formula for good reason. That was not the formula for good reason. I think that is a bad strategy. And I'm not sure what they're doing. Because once again, they're the ones who are like, we need to make money or we're closing down because we're so broke. And obviously, it's not even just them. It's also like CA behind them, like a Sony behind them who's like, hey, you know, we're happy to let you do your own thing, but please stop losing money so much, right? Let me get magical reserved on all these guys, because at the end of the day, these guys are batteries. So, like, you need to release popular DLC so that people buy your stuff, and then when people buy your stuff, then you have happy customers and you make money. I mean, that's the logical pattern, right? But they're not doing that. They're releasing niche DLC regularly, and I bet you those numbers are not very reassuring if you're Sony. So, Sega's the owners, not Sony. If you're Sega, then like, you have to ask yourself, like, what the hell are these people doing? I really want to go in and fight this stack over here, but I think we both know that I will get deleted. Realistically, I don't have much to do with this army. There's like no enemies this way. There's no enemies that way. There's a Zeech right there, but I don't want to annoy Zeech. It is. I'm kind of surrounded by people who don't necessarily hate me. I'm gonna go send him into Nagashazar to die. I'm gonna go suicide run Volkmar. We're almost done with this campaign. So yeah, say RIP to Volkmar, guys. Volkmar is very much dying. Oh, here's the rest of my heroes. Let me add that in. So yeah, that's this weird habit. It's like, hi, we're on our death throes, and it's like, okay, I believe you. We're gonna release really stupid DLC. It's like, sorry. That part of the plan doesn't add up there. I hope they get their stuff together. I think if End Times sells well, there will be a percentage of the player base that persists. My big issue will not be whether they release DLC. I think they will release DLC in the future for this game. I think that is definitely gonna happen, right? My bigger worry would be that whether or not they fix bugs. If they don't, because my belief is, once End Times is released, whatever fundamental issues are still in the game will be permanently in the game. They won't fix them ever again. So because there won't be any money to be made by fixing old bugs on an older game that nobody plays anymore. So that's my bigger concern. Like if they fix bugs, and that's why I've been so happy seeing things like unusual locations and like extra base features to the game, because those things, like, they wouldn't add that as a DLC. Nobody's gonna buy the unusual locations DLC. So there's no real like financial motive for them to do it. But in terms of like what it adds to the game, I think it's really good. No, don't get me wrong. Unusual locations are maybe a little bit too common at the moment. A little bit too much, but they're good overall. I think they add a little bit of spice. Reworks to base factions add a little bit of spice. Reworks to objects are good. Like that kind of stuff is really good from the game. Let me see your question now. What do you think about Warhammer 3 multiplayer? Do you think CA needs to focus on multiplayer aspects? Maybe the End Times DLC, they can give some mod that makes you work with multiple people. I think multiplayer, kind of like Immortal Empires, works better as a sandbox. So you just take your sandbox, and I'm just waiting for Zhao Ming, not Yanbo, to come back. So by the way, that's what we're doing right now, just to give an update. I think it works best as a sandbox. I think if they could make actual servers for it, because at the moment multiplayer on this game is, you know, person to peer or whatever the technical term for it is, right? So if you're playing in a group of like 3 people and one of them is a shit computer, everybody in the play group is going to experience it. And don't get me started on like trying to do like 6 people. So if you could have dedicated servers so that the performance of everyone is not tied to that one guy who sucks, it would be good. But it also adds a lot of costs. And the issue with like multiplayer in general is not like, is a tiny fraction of the player base. I play multiplayer. I like multiplayer, but it's a really hard game to multiplayer like a campaign properly, because you have to like sit down with like 2 to 5 people, right? And you have to like be consistent about it, because this is not a game you play in 30 minutes unless you're playing like a quick battle. But I think that's less satisfying than doing a campaign. You need to find a group of people who are going to sit down and play for months. Like realistically, you play like 3 hours every weekend or 4 weekends. And the issue is when people drop out, or life gets in the way, because, you know, in a month's time your life won't be the same as it was before. Like there's valid reasons people need to leave, right? But if they do, then it really like leaves a bad taste in your mouth. At least it does for me. It's like I've had campaigns that I was really invested in, and we were like about to get to like the fighting each other stage of the campaign, and it's like, okay, I have to go, or life gets in the way. Or even I've had times when once or twice where I had to excuse myself because like I just couldn't continue for various life reasons. And it's like that's the part that sucks. And that's part of something that CA can't fix, is like their game takes a long time to play and requires a lot of dedication from all parties involved. And it is one of the best experiences, because a lot of people's issues with Warhammer 3 is the AI. Is like, if you will become a good enough player, the AI will not build anything strong enough to contest you. So you can build like a half decent stack of anything. So even my terrible Volkmar stack with his pistoliers, right, will beat pretty much any one army the AI can throw you, because the AI doesn't like doom stack. It doesn't build armies properly. It doesn't react properly. It's like, it doesn't have military strategy and blah blah blah. You know, so the game adds difficulty because the AI doesn't respect basic rules about the game. So for example, Cafe has like 2 minor settlements. Okay, it has only one free settlements. It has 1 army right now, but before they had like 4. They don't respect basic rules like economy, but it's not very satisfying. But if you play against a human player, you actually can do things like, okay, I'm going to send a sneaky little army in, and I'm going to take out his economic center, and I should have been switching this out to money this whole time, so let me just do that now. I think I've been playing this for 100 turns, and I forgot to switch out all of these settlements to that money building. But yeah, it is the best experience you're ever going to have in this game. Is your game going to crash and you'll need to restart once in a while? Absolutely. But is it the best experience you're going to have? Also yes. But it's not something that they can micromanage, because at the end of the day, the issues as to whether or not you will enjoy multiplayer are heavily tied to, are you willing to sink in the time to this game? And if you or your friends can't, then you will never have a good experience at multiplayer regardless of what they do. Because you have, once again, you have quick match, right? But that's not what people want to play multiplayer Warhammer 3 on. They want those campaigns, whether it be co-op or against each other. You want to have those campaigns, and it always sucks to have a dropout. The other thing they should add, there is one thing they could do to make it better though, is give you an option to play previous campaigns. Previous, like, roll back a save file so that you can play finish your campaign or your multiplayer game, etc. after an update. Because that tends to be a big issue. Like, a lot of people don't remember. A lot of people have this issue where, you know, they don't know that a big update will break your save file, make it hard to continue your multiplayer match. There's way too many people there to fight. But I'm not really here to, I'm not actually here to win. I'm just here to kill this army and have a good time doing it. So it's fine. The reality is he can't exactly act on it. Even if he's angry at me afterwards, it's not like he's going to go chase me down. I remember Warhammer 2 had the Vortex campaign, and it was amazing, to be honest. Do you think Warhammer 3 had a better campaign? Or did CFL? I'm going to be honest. I started playing... I played before Chaos Dwarfs. I think I played significantly before Chaos Dwarf. Immortal Empires was still in beta, right? But I hear good things about Warhammer 2. I hear that the AI actually confederated, because that's one thing that they should fix. If they can get the AI in this game to actually confederate with each other. Because you'll notice that, like, the dwarves, there's like 3 or 4 major dwarf factions on the map right now. Let me retreat. Hopefully he'll back up. Okay. I'll just auto-resolve that. Like, the dwarves at the moment have 3 or 4 major empires going on the map. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what I can see. Once again, I don't really care about those armies anymore. So there's Forik over here. There's Belagar, who... Does he have 8 peaks? Good for him, he has 8 peaks. He's a happy dwarf. We have... what's his name? We have Guy over there. And I'm gonna assume that White Dwarf is dead. But you see, there's 3 major dwarf empires. If... my understanding of how it used to work in Warhammer 2 is that the AI would confederate. And if they could get them to confederate, that would be such a quality of life upgrade that it would really be massive. Because if the AI was bigger, then you would be fighting this massive empire. It's the same with, like, look at Empire. There's actually still minor Empire factions. There should not be minor Empire factions running around. It just should not be a thing. Averheim should not exist. I am impressed with the Wintertooth, though. That is an impressive feat that they're all way over here. Also, I don't even know what I don't know what this is. There's some weird shit happening in Bretonia. Let's not kid ourselves. But, like, the factions do not confederate, and because they do not confederate, you can late game you just break down the AI into, like, okay, I'll fight him, and because I have, like, such diplomacy ties with everyone, no one else is gonna join in. So you can just delete the AI one at a time very carefully and consistently. And it's not good. It doesn't, I don't really know what to research. I think I'll just do Manorial. Nah, you know, I'll upgrade my horses for no particular reason. So yeah, like, that's a main issue with the AI. It's like, it's not so much the AI, the campaign is great. Like, the campaign, just the scale of the campaign, everything about the campaign fundamentally is really good. The issue is more just the the AI doesn't act in a way that is best in terms of like quality of life. I think that's the best way for me to put it. Is like the AI does things that it shouldn't do if they wanted to present a challenge. Now, they've said in their Nagash rework, and now I'm not getting overly hyped. Don't get overly hyped, because everything they say in a press release, hype building announcement, CA doesn't always deliver on. Don't. Unfortunately, you live like anybody who plays this game lives in this toxic relationship with CA where like you can't trust a word out of their mouth because you know they lied to you, but you kind of don't want them to be lying to you. Is that the healthiest dynamic? No, God's no. But it is what it is. So you're in this situation where they announce that instead of like doing Endgame's Crisis the way it is now, they are gonna put it so that they're gonna make it so that you have like a climactic battle. So they're like, with the Archeon battle, you'll do a climactic final battle against Archeon. And it's like, okay, that sounds good. Because I recently did, so a week or two ago, I was doing a stream where I was doing 200% Endgame Crisis, Ultimate Crisis, like on turn 50, which was a hell of a challenge. But I reached the point where it's like, I was winning, but I quit at some point because it was like, I'm gonna burn out because I'm doing the same, like every round I would turn on the game and I would do like the same 6 battles. I would send my Steam Tank battalion into the Wood Elves territory and I would just delete 6 armies. And then at the end game would happen and then I would delete 6 armies again. And I was making progress, right? I was pushing in, I was killing them. But I was bleeding myself mentally at every step. So it's just like, it's not good. They need to find a better way for an endgame crisis than just like, here's 60 stacks of units. Good luck. It's not good. It's manageable. Works. It does do what it's set out to do. You're definitely getting a challenge, but you need to find a challenge that's slightly more than just like, here's a million armies. It doesn't create a good dynamic. It doesn't feel very satisfying. It doesn't feel earned. If you could get like Chaos Confederates, so the existing Chaos Confederates, and then like maybe gets a little bit more armies, but like if you defeat Archeon or you defeat each of the legendary lords, assuming that the legendary lords, so obviously if that would be really difficult because like Valkyr starts where Valkyr is, but like they move all the legendary lords into just like one big push, and as long as you delete all 7 legendary lords, for example, Warriors of Chaos has 7, right? I think it's 7 right now. As long as you defeated all the legendary lords, you win. I think that would be a way for it to feel satisfying without you needing to like go up into like the realms of like the Northern Chaos Waste and like individually take out every settlement. That would be the way you should do it. Like something like that. Or you do a quest battle where it's like maybe a quest battle where you could like bring in 2 or 3 armies. Because otherwise, you know, if I was saying, dude, kill 6 armies in a quest battle, you'd suffer, right? But like, if you build like, here's your proper army, you can choose when to, or you have to do this quest battle before a certain amount of time, or you lose. It's like you have 20 turns, and if you haven't beat this quest battle by 20 turns, you have 20 turns to like build up an army, regroup, and do the quest battle. And if you haven't, well then GG, checkmate. Like that would be something. But do I have confidence that they can implement that with the level of attention they're giving the game? Unfortunately, you know, I'm trying to have a positive stream, right? Because like we are waiting. Where is that goddamn lizard? Is he not gonna hire him? I need him to hire him. Should I just declare war on him? If I slaughter him, then, you know, let me start breaking. Look, let's you know, if he's gonna give me time to do this, I do have some time still. I'm gonna break my ties with Cafe, and then that way I don't maybe mess up my diplomacy when I do eventually betray him. So hello, I break that. Yes. Oh, you want to be my friend? Deal with it. I don't want to be your friend. And then we break your other treaties. Yeah. Okay. And then we break that. So that way, hopefully he will spawn in before 10 turns and I'll just betray him. But in 10 turns, no matter what, I will deal with him. And then I just need to find something tough to go for kill. And then we're done. I think that will be it. Like, I'm not going to try to conquer the map. Wizard stack is powerful. I think you saw that in the, like, demonstration I did at the start of the game, right? Like, but the AI doesn't know how to handle it. And the issue is, like, the major, like, enemy nearby is Grimgore, right? And, greenskins just can't handle a flying wizard stack. They don't have the units to deal with it. They don't have the flying. They don't actually have a lot of flying lords. So, like, Gelt would just fly above them and just murder them every round and it'd be kind of dry. So, I'm looking for, like, one big battle against, like, Sail. I'm hoping to, like, do one big fight against Sail. And then I will kind of leave it there for the campaign. I think that would be the most conclusive fight. Because Sail has been very annoying this campaign. And, like, good. I'm glad. I'm glad because, oh, you haven't seen them? Go have a look at my shorts. I think you'll notice that there's quite a few of them now. It's not just the Empire. Have a look. I think you'll see that there's actually quite a few guides. Yeah, I'm making a whole series out of it. Absolutely, I'm making a series out of that. They're by far some of my best performing videos. I was a little bit annoyed when I found out that views on shorts, like watch time on shorts, does not count towards monetization. So I'm gonna be making a little bit more long form content because I'm actually getting there on the subscriber count, but I'm not getting there on the watch time count. So oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I am working on long terms. I'm doing a Gelt guide this week. Hopefully. I was supposed to do it last week and I'm kind of stalling because, like, editing long form, like, takes a lot of time, right? And especially when it's not monetized quite yet, it's a little bit so that's why I've been doing a lot of, like, tier lists. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like I'm slopping it out, right? But I can see why a lot of YouTubers do tier lists, because tier lists don't require a lot of editing, right? So it is kind of nice to not have to, like, edit too much. And they perform good in, like, watch time because, like, you'll notice that a lot my watch time, so a lot of people don't watch through it, but the ones who do are very consistently watching the whole thing. So right now I need watch times and I need the last few subscribers. So you combine those two things and it's like we're getting there. Here's some insider baseball into YouTube. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think that's my answer to that. Is like I am gonna release more guides. I'm gonna do like faction guides. I'm gonna do all of those things. It's just more of a question of like getting around to it, if that makes sense. Not in a like in a lazy way, but more in a like there's a lot going on. Yeah. Nah. The issue, and that's the other issue, is like the other thing that's kind of slowed down the Carl campaign is that campaign was done before the update. So now it doesn't exist anymore. So now I have to do, I have to make a new save state, and I have to get to about the same spot, and then I can continue. I will do it. I definitely intend to do it, and I appreciate the support. But I intend to do more guides. Yeah, that is absolutely a thing I intend to do. It's just more of a getting to it kind of thing. Once again, not in a lazy way, just in a like, it does take a minute. I'm worried about the artillery. I need the artillery to win. But the artillery is going to get jumped. So what do? Did I just do that? They do cause terror. I think we'll protect them, but we'll do a demigriff protection squad. So I think that's a good that's a beautiful valley for shooting, but there's a few trees there that I don't like. I think we'll do that. We'll do the demigriff squad here, and we'll do the luminarch. I'll use a luminarch as bait. Now, I think we're actually going to take a more defensive stance. Like, I was initially planning to engage them, but I feel like we might be not be doing the best strategy if I do that. Let's span out so that That way, when they jump me, I can jump them. Yeah. So, look, I appreciate. I don't have any of that set up. I think no, I don't have any of that set up just yet. I appreciate the offer. No, I don't have. You can't do subscription on YouTube until I hit 500 subscribers, so we're not quite there yet. And I didn't assume that anybody wanted to do a anything like that yet. So no, I don't have any of that set up. I really I appreciate. I think on Twitch, so Max in Japan on Twitch, my monetization, if you have like the Twitch Prime subscriber or anything like that, like the subscription on that or anything like that, I would appreciate. I'm not, if you're interested, but that's like my only kind of monetization right now. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. I feel still a bit like uncomfortable doing that because I don't feel like I'm quite off. Like I don't feel like I'm quite offering that value yet. But if you want to, that's probably the way to do it. Is like Max in Japan on Twitch. I appreciate if you want to do that. Once again, I'm not quite sure I deserve that yet, but if you want to, I'm not gonna say no. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point of this. Let me try to take a shot at that Hell Pit Abomination. That is, I want to take. I love Luminarchs. They used to be this kind of terrible unit, and they're still not. They're very situational. That's the thing with Luminarchs. Is like the best units for a Luminarch are greater demons. So your Scarbrands, your Kugafs, and your blah blah blah. That's really what a Luminarch of Hysh is for. The issue is, for most Empire campaigns, is you don't really run into those things. Because like the only Empire faction that runs into Scave... Oh wait, has he not summoned an Underway? So in 45 seconds he hasn't summoned an Underway. Did they not have an Underway? He should. Normally at 45 seconds you'd expect... Like the AI doesn't like time, like doesn't do it like a human player. They will do it the moment the time is in. But like... so the issue... Oh, damn it, I hate... Okay, just as I was complimenting this unit, it goofs up on me. The issue with... Empire campaigns is that most Empire campaigns do not run into a greater demon, and the only one that does, so Volkmar, generally speaking, like if you haven't handled Scarbrand by the time you're hiring Luminarchs, you've done something wrong. You need to deal with Scarbrand much earlier than that. So you don't really have a use case for it. But and then Gelt is like Gelt technically runs into Kugaf at some point if you're expanding outwards, right? But the reality is like Gelt is Gelt, and Gelt doesn't need assistance. So, unfortunately, Luminarchs exist without really a home, but they are a really good unit for their specific case. Because, like, in my opinion, a bad unit is one that doesn't have a home, or where another unit does its job better. Luminarchs do a very unique job for Empire. It's just a very situational job. Let me try to take a shot at something, please. There's a tree right in the middle of my shooting line. I'm gonna waste 5 minutes trying to get a good shot off on this thing, but I want to. So like Luminarchs, once again, big monsters, so they do fire damage. So regeneration is also, regeneration target is also good. Here we go, let's do it. It's also really satisfying, but charge up is really satisfying on these things. But like, one of my best memories in multiplayer was like using the Regiment of Renown, because I knew I was fighting a Scarbrand player. So I had prepared this little sneaky trick of like one Luminarch here, and then 2 extra ones. So I pin with the Regiment of Renown one, he has a Net of Amontok ability. So with the Net of Amontok ability, I pin the Scarbrand, and then 3 of them like shoot on him with like an extra gun unit in the back, and I just delete him. And it was such a beautiful moment because he was so confident, like, oh, I have my Scarbrand, I'm gonna delete you. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, gone. The AI is not reacting to me taking pot shots here. I'm not necessarily complaining, but I kind of wish they would like react a little bit, right? Because this kind of feels a little bit underwhelming that I'm just gonna slowly murder this thing. We are just gonna take pot shots. Yeah, once again, AI, I'm hoping a new engine. So look, the reality is 40k will be the first game in this new engine. So in a way, we are going to be beta testing the new engine. Now, they've clearly been working on 40k for a while, because there was rumors of 40k for like 2 years now. So hopefully they've had time to iron out some of these AI issues and maybe they made it smarter and all of that. But it could also be like underwhelmingly terrible. Let me just take that Luminarch out and then we'll get going. Let me just take that Hellpit. There we go. We got the Hellpit. I'll take some shots out at Fraught in a minute. That is some, ooh, that is some good shots right there. That is a target-rich environment. Another tip for, hey, if you're playing Empire, right? You would like to play Empire. The AI on very hard difficulty will dodge shots. But if you target a specific unit in the blob, so like these, the other units around it won't try to dodge the shot. So even if the ogres try to move out, all of these clan rats here should hopefully get deleted. They're not even dodging. That just missed in general. So that's an aiming tip. It's really good for like early game Carl mortars, especially because mortars are terrible, and especially the AI will dodge mortars. So if you can just get into a situation where, let me take shots at Fraught. Fraught is a priority. I'm gonna lose. I knew I was gonna lose. I'm realistic that I'm gonna lose, but I just wanted to like kill off this army and have a fun battle doing it. But yeah. There we go. There we go. Some good shots in. I want to take a shot at Fraught with this. Volkmar is gonna die screaming. Let me reload the Luminarch. Oh, there's so many single entities. Oh my god, I forgot that. Oh, that's the other thing. This unit does not so Pistoliers do not respect your settings for oh my god, I'm gonna die. Pistoliers do not respect your settings for skirmish mode. Pistoliers are always on default skirmish mode for some reason, and it's really annoying. For some reason, it just doesn't respect that. I don't want that. I set do not skirmish mode, and they still skirmish mode. Let me rain fire on this location. I'm gonna lose. Let's go. I forgot that I had these. We've lost the artillery. That's not a good start. And we've got Fraught though. I'll take that. Let me adjust my position slightly. So yeah, we've killed Fraught. That's good. We're gonna die, but yeah. Let me adjust fire. There's way too many of them, but we're gonna go down fighting, and that's good. Yeah, don't play Volkmar. Never play a Volkmar campaign. He is not enjoyable. Every time I've mentioned this before, I think, but like every time I play a Volkmar, I read the End Times book, so spoilers for a book you're probably not gonna read, right? But like Volkmar is the something great descendant of Sigmar, and I was like, well, that's a cool detail. Maybe I should play Volkmar. And then I play Volkmar, it's like, oh, this is why I don't play Volkmar. Yeah. Let me keep casting magic with this guy to get my healing off. We are gonna die though. And that's okay. I accept that is my fate. Let's keep casting healing magic. But yeah. It's good. Let me I'm getting heroed to death by something. Not even a hero. It's funny that Skaven, like once again, you can get 100 kills on Skaven, which like in most factions would be pretty good. And then Skaven, you know that you just murdered a bunch of clan rats. Or worse, Skaven slaves. It doesn't mean anything. 100,000 casualties in Skaven does not mean as much as it would in other factions. But yeah, I angered Nagashazar. It's gonna be funny that like Nagashazar, the issue with Nagashazar for Nagash's like DLC, right, is like Nagashazar is a very bad geographically. So I really hope they do a little bit more to fix that. Let me keep trying to fight that rat. Okay. Yeah, realistically, there's nothing I can do. Pistoliers are terrible. I think there's some arm. If I had like, okay, what could I use to beat that? If I had like Amethyst Ironside front line with Amethyst Ironsides behind, like with Nolan Ironsides behind them, I think maybe we could have like won that. But let's be honest, it would have been a very rough fight. We're still waiting on that goddamn lizard. Where is that lizard? I don't want to declare war on him like artificially. How are you doing, Tarny, by the way? So you enjoying the slightly earlier stream? Because this is by the time I would normally start streaming at this hour. At the moment, I'm playing mostly this. I like Age of Empires free. I like my Overwatch. It's just like I like a lot of games, really. I play Fortnite with my wife. But I don't I don't know those games as well as I know this game, if that makes sense. So like, and I also, this is a game that like I can play hours on. I was doing it on my own. So it's like, if I'm going to play hours on this game, I might as well stream it, if that makes sense. But also like, I know this game to a very, without wanting to like fluff myself up, right? I know this game to a very deep level. Like I have played this game a ton. I understand this game. I can like power game this game, all of those things. Overwatch, I'm a good Overwatch player, but I'm probably not the bestest Overwatch player. And also, I find Overwatch, I find a lot of games where you win or lose not based on your own ability to be very frustrating. Because in Overwatch, you can play incredibly. You can hard carry the whole team and you still lose because, you know, the rest of your team are glue sniffers. I'm not very familiar with roleplay game. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, are we talking like Dungeons and Dragons? Because like, the only time in my life I was ever I was offered once to be taught Dungeons and Dragons by a girl, and I massively misread the situation, and she was trying to sleep with me. So she was like, "Oh, if you want to come learn Dungeons and Dragons, like, come over and I'll teach you." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And yeah, I massively misread that situation, and she was not trying to teach me Dungeons and Dragons. So I've never quite learned that, but I'm not very familiar with those kinds of games. I'm gonna be honest. I'm always down to try things, especially if there's like a demand for it. I think once in a while a variety stream will be good, because like right now we're fresh on like DLC content, but like depending on how long it takes, at some point I want to break from this. But I'm not very well versed in a lot of those games. Let's send Gotrek and Felix in, and let's take this city manually. But yeah, it was really funny because it's just like that came a bit out of nowhere. It was like, no, I actually really want to learn how to play the game, and it's like, I did not get that lesson. I was very much in a relationship at that time, and I was like, no, I'm not in the market for that. But yeah, uni life moment. Yeah. But no, I'm not well versed in. I'm not against it. But yeah, I'm not well versed in all of those. Like, I don't know much about it. I did try Baldur's Gate and it looked fun, and but I never got into that either. I was gonna play it with my wife, and then we kind of just we saw a lot of projects, me and my wife. There's a lot of like movies and games we like start playing, and then we get distracted by like another game or another movie, or just like life and blah blah blah, and then we don't finish it. So for better or worse, there's a lot of things I should do and I don't end up playing. But no, I was playing No, I Am Not Human. It was a recommendation from a friend who was like, "Oh, you should play this on stream." And it's a fun game. It's like this, like, not quite a puzzle game, I would put it, but like you have to like figure out who is, like, you let people into your house, right? And you have to figure out which one of them are problematic and which ones of them are killing all your guests. And it was like, okay, this is fun, but also like I reached a point where I was like, okay, we've definitely played this game and I've seen most of what it has to offer. I need to try new games. So I'm not opposed to trying new games, especially on stream, right? But right now, I'm trying to focus down on the Warhammeriness of it all, because, you know, as I mentioned, like, my main objective is the monetization side of things and all of that, and we're getting there. Like, I'm really happy with my progress. It's like the first 100 subscribers took me like 100 days, a month, and then it was like 8 days, and then it was 4.5 days for the next 100, and now we're on track to get it in like under 4 days at the moment. So it's like, I'm happy with that. But it's just, yeah, it's just, so the other one that I'm really sad that I didn't get for this campaign, switching subjects 2 seconds, is Elspeth. Elspeth inside of Gelt is really good. Outer Wilds. Let me note that down. So I'll try. And which one do you recommend, Ellie? I presume you have one. I'll take notes. And anyone else, if you want to chip in, like any other games you want me to play, folks? Like, I'm down for suggestions. Like, just because I make YouTube on Warhammer doesn't mean I have to lock myself into playing Warhammer on stream the whole time, I guess. But what is Outer Wilds about? Let me keep just casting. I'm kind of need Gotrek to get in the city, and then I can like blobber up around him. I think we're... There we go. Problem solved. Go fight the mammoth. Just blob up around him, please. I'll just do that, and I'll just do this. That. And then we just group cast. So, yeah. That was a funny little moment. I think... Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like right now I'm trying to like focusing on what I do right now, but then once we've like done it, then I can mix it up a bit. But for a while, that's why my name is like Max in Japan. I was asked that the other day. I was like, why is your name Max in Japan? I was like, well, I was just planning to variety stream, and then Twitch for some reason like doesn't let me change my name for like another month probably. So for the next like 2 months, I am stuck with Max in Japan. So I just kind of rolled with that branding. Because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to be doing like content wise, so I didn't want to do anything like too specific and lock myself in. So then I just ended up being like very like random. Be Baldur's Gate free or Pathfinders or Expedition. Yeah, like Expedition I've heard very good things about. I probably should play Expedition, right? It's a space game where you're in a solar system and repeating the same day over and over again, trying to solve the mystery of what is happening. Ah, well, look, it sounds fun. I should try it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that I should do. For now, as I said, let me finish on getting monetized, and then once we've done the monetization aspect, then I will mix things up a little bit. Maybe, and once again, maybe I'm doing that wrong. Maybe I should mix it up. But I don't want people like, especially like on YouTube, right? Subscribing, hoping for Warhammer content or for variety streams, and then like see like all my content is Warhammer. I'm not sure how that mixes in well, because like, you know, getting subscribers that are not like part of your target audience and then they don't watch the rest of your content is not bueno, from my understanding. I haven't researched it as well as I probably should for someone who's trying to get into YouTubing, but I've picked up a few things, I hope. So I am getting, Felix is getting deleted. So let's just do that. But I intend to mix it up at some point. Now, Felix should be able to handle these guys on his own, I hope. Like, he has a lot of armor, right? No, he's getting his armor banged up a bit. Maybe I should give him more armor just for the fun of it. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm just gonna get Felix to leave the city. And just, I need to fight the last... I don't even need to fight them, I just need to cast on Gotrek's location. But yeah, I'm gonna go off on a little side subject because I wanted to talk about it. Like, I was recently asked, like, hey Max, what is the difference between, like, Thailand and Vietnam for, like, living? Because, you know, a lot of people, like, and there's a lot of benefits for living in Asia. Like, if, you know, these days, if you make your money online, right, living in Asia is, like, a much better quality of living, for, like, the amount of money. Because, like, if you're living in Western Europe, pretty much anywhere in Western Europe, like, you pay a lot of money, right? But your quality of life doesn't really seem like it's worth it. But so, and it just made me think about my own experience in Vietnam. So like, Vietnam is getting more and more trendy. It's like, oh, it's better than Thailand. But like, I had a very funny moment in Vietnam once. So it was 2022. The country was just opening up from COVID. And they hadn't quite figured out. Now here's the main difference between like Thailand and Vietnam is that Thailand has figured out its tourism game to a T. Everything is really well thought out. It's really figured out. They know what they're doing. And they act like it. It's like Lion's Heart replace technically everything. He does include his own community with him. No, I understand like the personality stream, but I'll continue on my little story 2 seconds. I'll react afterwards because I don't want to lose track. So I show up in Vietnam in summer 2022, and they just kind of reopened from COVID. Like legally they were opened up, but they hadn't quite figured everything out right. And I was there for a friend's birthday, but I was also traveling around Asia at the time. It was kind of a mix of objectives. So I come in on like an entry visa. So it was like, here you go. Here's your visa. You just show up at the border. You get your, because I have a French passport. You just get a visa. I was like, okay, that's pretty smooth. And I'd done the same thing in Thailand. So like I expected it to not be a problem. It turns out it was a big problem. So I had read online that I could renew it. Like, you can just go up to the government building, and like most visas, you just like pay a little bit of cash and you renew it. And I'm like, okay, that sounds easy enough. This is why wizard stacks get annoying, is like, I need to like do something like Elspeth, like I'll go back to that in a second. So on day 12 of my 15-day visa, I go to where the internet tells me I need to go, and I try to get a visa. And it's like, no, wrong building, go over here. And once again, that's the other advantage of Thailand. A lot of people speak English in Thailand, Vietnam, not so much. So I go to the next building, and they're like, no, wrong building. Wrong building. You need to go to this third building. It's like, okay. I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated here, but we keep going. Let me retreat the rest of these guys. But we're like, okay, this can't be that hard. But I'd spent like 3 hours doing that. I was still in the middle of my vacation. So I was like, I'll go do it another day. And then I tried the same circus again, and I get bounced between like 3 buildings, and all of them tell me, no, other building. So at some point, I call my friend, right? And I'm like, hey, can you come with me? You speak Vietnamese. Can you tell me what the hell I'm doing wrong? Where do I need to go? And that was on day 14 of my visa. The day matters a lot because it's really mattering to the important part of this story. So we go to the government building. He comes with me, and he basically tells me they have no idea what's going on because like they hadn't quite figured out all of the visa stuff yet. But like they get the answer that he gets out of them is like, you cannot renew this specific visa because it was like a visa on entry. You needed to like leave the country. And it's like, oh fuck. Because like getting a flight last minute is always like pricier than it needs to be. And it's like, obviously I'd kind of like set up an Airbnb, and his birthday was on the 15th. So you combine all of those reasons, and I really was not excited for the news. So his birthday was on the 15th day of my visa, which I didn't think would be a big problem because I thought I could renew it in person. So, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 1 day overstay. I'm going to overstay it by 1 day. I read you pay a bit of a fine, but it's a lot cheaper than getting a flight. And I'll just do that, right? And I'll overstay it by 1 day, and on the 16th day, I'll do a border run. So you just go to the border and you cross back. And in theory, that sounds fine. We have a good birthday. We have a good time. We go to a steakhouse, blah, 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 blah. And now this is where shit really hits the fan. This is where shit really went bad for me. So here I am, and I'm with a group of other tourists because like there's a lot of like Asian countries, so you can get like official visas to stay in the country permanently, or you do regular visa runs. You know, you leave the country, you come back in the country, blah, blah, blah. And that's how a lot of them are like living in these countries without really being able to. So like your Balis, your Thailand, your blah, blah, blah. And I go up to the border. So we show up at like 7 in the morning, and we take a bus. We're all in a group bus, and it's all like a cheerful attitude. Like people have been doing this like 1,000 times. And I go up to this, like, I think it was Cambodia. If I'm getting my geography wrong, I'm pretty sure it's Cambodia. I go up to like the Cambodia border, and they're like, okay. And I show up, and I like, okay, I just go up, and I have some cash with me because I like, okay, they're gonna ask me for like the fine, and I'm prepared to pay that. I understand that it was my goof. Not really, like I had been actively working on it, but you know, it is what it is, right? And the border guard on the fucking Cambodian border is like $400. I want $400. And I'm like, sorry, what the fuck, man? And like, I'm not even kidding. On the wall, like in the wall of the station, was written the amount of the fine, which was supposed to be $30 like per day. And I had brought like $50. And the guard's like, yes. $400. And what I realized was happening is like, the guy wanted a fat bribe because he realized, oh, he's fucked. So, not a great start. So, this whole time, my friend had, let's start off the story in order. So, I go talk with the people from the company, and I was like, the fuck is this? And they go up to talk to him, and he's like, no, $400. And I didn't want to pay it because I realized the issue is like, if I paid him one way, and then I try to come back in at the same point, they'd probably try to bill me on the other way in. So I was like, okay, I'm not paying that bribe, but at least I'm not doing it this way. And like, okay, so I go talk with the guys, and they try to talk to him, and he's not budging an inch. Now here's a travel tip for you, and I learned this after the fact. Non-airport border security has a lot more leeway than your standard airport security people, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting there, at the Cambodian border with 50 bucks to my name, and all of my money was locked out because at the time I had a lot of money in like crypto and stuff, and Vietnam was not a good place for that kind of setup. There's a lot of restrictions in the countries, right? And it made it rather difficult to access a lot of my money. So here I am at the border. The guy doesn't want to let me in. The guy doesn't want me through. And like this whole year, I had this friend from Vietnam, the one who was here for his birthday, who keeps telling me like, "Ah, Max, you don't understand. My family in Vietnam is a big deal. Is a big deal. So don't worry about it. I'll call my fixer, and we'll solve it for you. We'll solve it for you." And it's like, okay, but you don't understand, Max. The fixer has to come in at the middle of the night, because it's better bribing time. Unironically, like it's better. There's less supervision. There's less guards. Like it's better to bribe at night. So here I am sitting at the Cambodian border, and now the group that had like brought me there was like, "Hey, do you want to go back with us?" And I was like, no, I'm staying. I have to do this. And they're like, okay. So they had left. So here I'm sitting the whole day at the Cambodian border, which, for the record, there's nothing going on. Like there's nothing there. It's just like one terrible restaurant and just like hordes and hordes of like Chinese tourists going by all day. And just nothing to do. And I'm sitting there wasting like my limited data. And like luckily I brought a phone, like a big phone battery with me. So I was fine for power. And I'm just sitting there on the side of basically the road all day waiting for the fixer to arrive. And it's like, okay. And the fixer arrives and he goes and talks to the person. There's a whole conversation obviously happening in Vietnamese. And then the fixer comes back to me and is like, "It's going to be $200. So what the fuck do you mean it's going to be $200? And it's like, yeah, it's going to be $200. And it's like, okay, you know what? At this point, I'll take it because I could just go back and get a flight. But you know what? At this point, I'm done. Okay, that was not worth it. At this point, I'm done. I accept it. And then, because I had started traveling in 2021, it turns out that I had never been like I'd never been vaccinated at the time. So then they were like, oh, you're not vaccinated. We're going to charge you extra money because we need you can't pass. It was completely legal, but he was just fucking playing games at this point. Like we need to charge you extra money for that. And at some point I'm like, fuck it. I'm done. I'm going to go back to the city. I'll get on a plane tonight. It is cheaper. I'll just do it and I'll come back for the airport. And I tell the fixer, right? I'm done. I'm going back. And the fixer's like, goes and talks to him. Is like, okay. It's sorted. So it won't be an extra $100. It won't be an extra $100. It'll just be the $200, and we'll just go through with it. And I had to call my dad, which is it was a bit embarrassing. It's like, hey, can you send $200 to the bank account and I'll pull it out on an ATM? Because I had a lot of cash, but it was all back at home. I didn't carry around like so much cash with me. So that was a bit embarrassing in of itself. It was like, great, fuck. So here I am, and we go through, and I get my renewed visa for 15 days. And it's like, God damn it. And then what I thought was going to happen, now the day gets worse. Now, for the record, I started the day at 7, it was now 6 p.m., and the day gets worse. Because what I thought would happen is the fixer would drive me back to the city, because I was 2 hours away from Ho Chi Minh. And I thought the fixer would drive me back to the city. No, I was like, no, man, figure it out. So, just to reiterate my situation, I am on the border with Cambodia. I'm a million miles away from anything, and I need to figure out my way home. So I realized that, now, for added details to this story, there was a group of taxi drivers, like, you know, standard stereotypical taxi drivers, all playing cards all day. And like the whole day they'd been like, hey, do you need taxi? And I was like, no. But they clearly clocked that I'd been there the whole day. So I go up and talk to them. And they realize, damn right, that I'd been there the whole day, that I clearly didn't know my shit, and like, I was fucked. So they start naming ridiculous prices again. So they're talking like ridiculous amounts of money for getting back to the city. when like I knew damn well that that was a completely ridiculous price. So I'm like, no, you know what? It was 20 kilometers to the town where I knew I could find like normal taxis. I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm just gonna walk. I have nothing to lose at this point. I'm just gonna walk. I'm done spending money for the day. So I just start walking. And I was like, ooh, 20-kilometer walk at 6 p.m. at night on the side of the highway. I'm probably gonna get murdered, right? It's not a good plan, but it is what it is. I just do it. And then as I'm walking, one of those taxi drivers rolls up to me and is like, oh, your price. So I was offering about $70 to drive back, which is a ridiculous amount of money in Vietnam for like that sort of trip, especially on the back of a bike. But he's like, $70? It's like, yeah, sure, $70. So he puts me on his bike, and then he drives me back where I started going, and then there's clearly, and I don't speak a word of Vietnamese, right? But there'd clearly been a bit of an argument, because I think they were hoping to lowball me further, and they were very upset with him for like accepting, for like taking that offer, and they shouldn't have done that. So at some point, I think by then it was like 7 or 8 p.m. at night, I start losing my shit. And I just like, I shout at them, I'm like, fuckers, I'm gonna go. One of you either drives me or I am leaving. And at some point they realize, okay, we're gonna lose our meal ticket here. Cause like, we're still talking about a lot of money. We're still talking about a lot of money at that point. So one of them is like, okay, we go. Get on my bike, we go. And it's like, okay. So we drive for about 15 minutes, and then he swaps me over. So we stop on the side of the road, and a friend comes in, and the first guy's like, oh, give me the money, and my friend will keep driving. And it's like, no, money at the end. No way. No fucking way in hell. So at this point, I'm convinced that I'm going to get fucking murdered. And now, I translate that point. So driver 1 gives driver 2 gives original driver some money, and then I get on the new bike, and we keep heading to Ho Chi Minh. And I kid you not, I have this is something that will stay with me for the rest of life. I am on the back of a sketchy ass moped. I'm on the back of a sketchy ass moped in the middle of the night on a Vietnamese highway in between these massive trucks. And the guy is driving like a psychopath. And like, I can't say anything because if I like talk to him and I'll like slow down, I could distract him and we could crash, right? So he is squeezing in between trucks in the middle of the night. There are potholes and we fly for like meters. And we arrive an hour and a half later, we arrive at the border of Ho Chi Minh, the city. And he flags down one of his friends because literally they all know each other. The whole time he was driving, every few minutes, he would like honk his horn and beep at another guy he knew on the other side of the highway. Like, for some reason, he fucking knew everyone. It was weird as fuck. So we arrive at the border of the city, and he doesn't know the city very well. So I'm sitting there on the side of the street between him and a third driver. And we arrive in the situation where this third driver, he wants to swap me out with the third driver because he doesn't know, the third driver knows the city and he doesn't know the city because he's from like near the Cambodian border, right? So they want to do the whole give me the money and like he will drive you. And I'm like, no. I give the money when I arrive, not a second before. So then he tells third drivers like, okay, how much is it? And they're negotiating between each other because once again, third driver has to give second driver the money so that second driver gets his cut, and then I keep going. And then they reach the point where second driver tells third driver how much I had agreed to, and the massive language barrier, right? But I could see the look on his fucking face of like, you agreed to that much? And I was like, I got robbed. I know I got robbed massively. So I realized how fucked I am, and I just roll with it, you know? I'm just like, okay, yes, that's the amount I agreed to. So I just, at some point, I just accept it. I'm just, okay, you know what? I'll make it home tonight. I'll make it home. It's relatively okay. Like, it's not. It's been a long day. It's been a miserable day, but at least I'll make it home. And then I make it home. And you know what? I had that moment of like, I could just make a run for it. I could give him a slightly wrong address. and I could make a run from the taxi driver, and I feel like I could probably get away from him. But like, as I discovered on my entire ride back, every single fucking taxi driver in this city knew every other single taxi driver in this city. So like, there's no way I'm getting away with that. But I was kind of in that like mood where it's like, how can I turn this to my advantage? But it also would be shitty towards that one guy because he had nothing to do with it, really. So I just kind of like, nah, okay, fine. Let's just go. I give him the money and I make it home. For the record, it was 11 p.m. at night. I started at 6. I was supposed to be done by like 12. It is 11 p.m. and then I check my phone because at the back of the taxi, I didn't check my phone the whole like 4 hours, right? And my friend is like, "Oh, when you can you send me the $100 for the fixer? Because the fixer paid $100 because of that. You know that said that I said let's not fucking do this. The extra bribe. Turns out that the fixer had actually gone off and paid it, and like had told my friend that like, he'll handle it. Like he agreed to handle it. I was like, no. I can show you the exact text message where I said like, I am not paying that. I am going to the airport. I'm done. I'm not paying more bribes. So I was like, and maybe like it was a little bit too harsh and I probably should have done it more diplomatically. But at that point I was like, fuck it. You know what? Your fixer scammed you. You figured that out with him. I am not dealing with that. And I just collapsed and I slept for like 16 hours, but the day was done. Oh, that was a long day. And it's like one of those things like, I'm glad like I've had so many positive experience traveling because if that had been my first time traveling, I think I would have died. And like the point of this whole story, apart from like, here's a miserable experience like on a trip, right? Is that like, this would never happen in Thailand because Thailand actually gives a shit about its reputation, right? Thailand, the tourism is squeaky on wheels. As long as you are not doing something stupid, you're not insulting the king, you are not like trying to like import a massive fuck ton of drugs or something stupid, right? Thailand will make sure that your experience as a tourist is very smooth because that makes sure that like there's no negative words, bad words said about Thai anything. But Vietnam, it is much more, it's much sketchier. There are bribes everywhere. Everything has to be done a bribe, and it's an expected part of the culture. So it's not like you can even complain against like his superior officer or everything, because the superior officer is going to be like, I'll charge you more money. Fuck you for disrupting my little system. So there's pros and cons to it, but like, I don't know. It's just, I view Vietnam much more negatively, obviously, since then. Like, and obviously I know that like, okay, if I just avoided the border and I just gone through the airport, it probably would have been a much smoother trip. But as you can imagine, it kind of left a really bad taste in my mouth after that. So I was just like, I'm done. I've been to Vietnam once or twice since, but it's always like very officially through the border. I make sure not to like overdo my visa or anything like that ever again. But it's just like, that was such, I don't know. Somebody had asked me recently, it was like, it just opened like this like memory like of like, oh boy. It's like, I was asked like, oh, Vietnam is really cool, right? What's your opinion on Vietnam? And I was like, deep trauma was awakened. But yeah, that was like one of those like fun travel experiences. Like I've had a lot of like other travel experiences, like both good and negative, right? But that was definitely one that's gonna stick with me for a while. And that one extra thing about like, so Vietnam, like in the city, you can get on a bike taxi, right? So it's like a taxi, but it's like a third the price, which like, so in the city, it's not the end of the world because like vehicles, you might tap a vehicle, which is not great, right? But like, you don't have the momentum to like actually get like fully killed. But like something that I didn't think about is like the helmets. They all come with like a helmet. You just put it on for the ride. The helmets are way smaller than like American side. Like for my head, like I have a big head by like Western standards, right? But like especially by like Asian standards, oh, the helmets did not fit. So I was sitting there with like a helmet. I have a photo somewhere on my phone. I could probably like show stream at some point, right? I have the helmet. The helmet is like kind of like halfway like this on my head because legally you have to put on the helmet. It's just like it doesn't fit. So I just kind of do my best. So yeah, the helmet that I was driving on the back of that, like, in reality is like the helmet was not going to save me. If we crashed, it was over. My life was very much over at that point. But once again, it ended up being fine. I refunded my dad at some point, and I was like, it was the end of a long trip. Once again, it was a mid-COVID kind of trip, as I said. So like, I understand that like Vietnam since then has got their tourism much more in order. There won't be that sort of thing anymore. But it's like I'm not excited to ever find out about that again. So it's just like, been there, done that, never again kind of thing. Oh well, my rambling aside, yeah, there's been a few like moments like that in my life when it's like, oh, but yeah, I realized that like there's several points of this trip where it could have gone really badly, like shouting at a bunch of taxi drivers, because there's like 20 of them, right? It's like, I know how to fight, but like 20 on one, not good odds. In the middle, especially in the middle of nowhere with very little like anything, not good odds. I easily could have disappeared. It was one of those like, you know, I'm married now, I have a kid now, so like I would never do anything like that again. But it's one of those like, I'm glad I did it looking back, but at the time I was having a very miserable, a very like, it was not a good day. It was not a good day. But nah, like once again, and that was the thing, is like a month before, like 2 months before, I had done a visa renewal in Thailand, and it was literally a question of just like, walk into building, oh, you forgot your photos, you should go to this building over there, they'll do your photos, come back. And it was all done in like an hour. So I'd gotten too cocky. I was like, okay, they look, it has to be the same, right? It was not the same. It was not the same. And yeah, since then, because of that whole like, fuck you, you know, your scammer scammed you, I'm not like your fixer scammed you, I'm not paying that extra bill on top of everything else. I fell out with that friend, but it was like, you know what? At some point, it is what it is. I don't regret not paying that extra money. I was very much done with that day. It was like, it's one of those like, you have to be, okay, we're doing the horse skills. We want the horse skills, leading the charge. There we go. We want that. A horse tag that I'm not even gonna play. But like, it's one of those like really funny moments. Where it's like, I'm glad I did it. I have that experience, and it's a great story. Now the issue is there's no easy way to like tell that story in a quick version. Usually it is like, every time I talk about it, it's like a 10-minute experience. What is up with Cafe? How do I motivate him to build an army? Is he over here? He might be over here. I think I need to wait a few turns, and then I'll just declare war on him formally, and I will just kill him. But yeah, it's one of those things like, it's a great, you know, life building experience, all those things, but like, I'm glad I don't do that again, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Let me keep working on my magic lores discounts that I'll never use in actual combat. I think I've discounted all of the magics pretty much. Now I have. So that's done. But yeah. Japan is much easier. So like, I found like obviously I'm with my wife most of the time, so like I don't interact, but like I went to pick up my grandmother at the airport. She was visiting, you know, her great-great-grandson, right? Her great-grandson, not great-great. But like, she was visiting her grandson, so I go pick her up at the airport. And like, I find that like Japan is surprisingly helpful. Like, random Japanese people will come up to you and like try to help you, especially when they realize you're lost, and that's like very nice of them. It's like, you know, all the stereotypes about Japan being, you know, Sugoi, blah blah blah, bullshit, like stereotypes, they're true. Japan is a lovely place to live in, and it's really funny because like, out of me and my brother, unironically, and this sounds like the most autistic thing ever, and guess what, we both are, so it's normal, right? But like, my brother learned Japanese because he wanted to watch a specific anime that wasn't translated to Japan, right? To English. So unironically, the only logical solution to fixing this very serious problem is to learn fucking Japanese. So he learns it. He actually unironically learns it. And he gets like a summer job and he had a really good time for like 3 months. Like Japan, like in the summer months, they get like, you can come in and you can kind of help with like cultivation work. So he's living in a small town, blah, blah, blah. I think it helps that it was probably the first time he had sex too. So you combine those two things and you get a very positive experience of Japan. So then he goes over for 1 year at uni. He goes over for like 1 year as part of like an exchange program. He has 1 year at uni. Why am I making so much money now? I think it's all my investments in my economy is finally paying off. He goes and does like 1 year at uni, and I don't know what happened. I think he like messed up socially. I think he offended someone or he was rude or something like that. It didn't quite work out for him. He didn't have a good time. It really didn't work out for him. So unironically enough, he doesn't actually enjoy Japan anymore. We don't really know what exactly happened, but he doesn't like Japan anymore. He's kind of moved on from his Japan phase of his life. And then here I am. I've watched anime before, sure. But like not really that much. And like I've never learned Japanese. And here I am living in Japan. It's one of those like funny things that my family likes to laugh about is like out of the two of us, I'm the one actually living in Japan. And obviously I never really considered about living in Japan because like, you know, Japan is not a country you move to very easily, right? So because I never like thought about it because I didn't think it was going to happen, I never thought about it. Here I am. I'm the one living in Japan. It's just like this very funny little life event where, you know, life takes a strange path sometimes. I wasn't planning to. I was actually very happily living in Thailand, but then, you know, my wife got pregnant and was like, okay, if we're going to raise a kid, probably not the best place. On the other hand, Japan's probably better for that. So here I am living. It's very nice. Like Japan is one of those countries where it's like, if you are the kind of person who like needs to have a lot of social interaction. So like regularly socially interact with people, blah, 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 like a large group of people, probably not the place for you. But if like me, you're like, you have like 1 or 2 people, like so my wife, my son that I spend time with. And I honestly, I'm very fine with like that amount of time socially. Like that's all I really need. Like I find it to be a good place. Now I've completely avoided the Japanese workplace because from what I understand, if you're not Japanese, that is very rough. So don't take my word as gospel. Is that anything to do with the Japanese workplace? I have no idea, and I have zero intentions of ever finding out. From what I understand, it's very intense. All the stereotypes about that part are very much true. So make of that what you will. But for the actual like just day-to-day life, it's if you make your money abroad, it's much cheaper than it is in the West. It's safe, you know, all the stereotypes, right? So it's nice. I'm very happy living here. But yeah, I never really thought about it, you know, because one does not simply move to Japan. So I never considered it. You know what? If I am still playing this campaign by the time this meme build is built, I'm going right back in there and I will slaughter those rats. But realistically, in a few turns, I'm going to finish clearing out, what's his face? And then I'm going to declare war on Cafe. I'm actually going to give them a few settlements. I'm unironically going to give them a few settlements first. So I'm actually going to go give them the Bamboo Crossroads. I'm going to give them a bit of land, and I'm going to give them a bit of economy, and hopefully they start building armies. And then I'm going to motivate them to respawn Yuanbo for me, because I really want to kill Yuanbo. And then I'm going to murder Cafe with the skills that I get from Yuanbo. That is my game plan for the next 2 hours. I really want to be done with this campaign today so that I can start next weekend on a new build. I want to do the Tamarcon on Old World. That's my plan. That's the plan for this week. So let's try to like finish this, even if I have to like artificially prop up the AI to like spit out Yuanbo, because I'm definitely at the level of power where if I'm not careful, right, I could just delete Yuanbo from existence, and that doesn't help anyone. I'm gonna force march because I have so much like corruption resistance that I don't really mind taking a bit of corruption. So yeah. You still here, Ollie, or did you get bored out of my long talk? Yeah. So, I don't know, I just once again, I was just talking about like the differences between Vietnam and Thailand as like the traumatic memory came back, so I just needed to vent. I just needed to like live through it again. So what settlements do I give? I'm gonna give, as I said, I think I'm gonna give him the Bamboo Crossroads. There isn't a special building here, right? No, there isn't. So I'm gonna give them that building. He's gonna want to be my friend over it, but I don't want to be his friend. I want to just give him lands. Yeah. Give me that. Here you go. Have that. And then is there one other one I could give him? I think ideally I want to give him lands in this corner of the map because it's better, you know, he'll have a better time managing that than if it like the AI doesn't manage having split up lands very well. Yeah, so Hai Shai. There we go. Let's give him 2 bits of land. I mean, I guess it was therapy. I think I just needed, I guess venting is a form of therapy, so yeah, fair. But yeah, it's just one of those like, oh, the ogres are going in. That's gonna be underwhelming. If he kills them for me, it's gonna be underwhelming. I guess I did pull them into a war, right? Let me, I have my steam tanks built up. What do I need to like, we're going inner circle next, I guess. We've kind of built everything. There's very little left to accomplish, and that's when the campaign gets a bit slower, so I'm kind of glad we're stopping it. I will do the control building, I will do the anti-corrupt. Doesn't do anything. I used to think that like the anti-corruption building would help with like this, you know, with terrain being unsuitable. I know it doesn't, but I'm just doing it out of habit more like. Oh, I could boost Gelt's movement range. I could do that. I could have done that. I'll do that for the village settle. It's interesting that village got deleted seemingly by Norska. You'd think that they like worked together, but I guess they didn't, which is surprising. But yeah. That's one of those stories. And then the other thing that I recently ranted about is like how much the show, like Game of Thrones, the show, it was ruined by like, Now, obviously, everybody knows that it was ruined. Right? I'm not gonna say anything new, but like my specific angle is like one of the things that really hurts the show, and when they were still following the books, is the decision to like not go through with Tyrion's character arc. Have you watched Game of Thrones, Tarny, or am I gonna be ranting about something you're not at all familiar with? I'll change the way I explain it if you are or are not familiar with the show. So just tell me. Oh wait. I've seen the show and you've read the books. Okay, well then, you know what? I don't actually have that much to explain to you. But you know, the main difference between like late Tyrion compared to the books in the show is the decision what they do with, you know, his wife. Like, you know, the whole, like, they don't commit to the bit of, like, you know, she actually loved you. They don't address it. Jamie doesn't tell him, like, the truth in the show. And it's one of those things that, like, it doesn't sound like a big deal, right? Just like, what can that change? But the answer is, like, it changes everything. And I'm so annoyed by it. Because, like, at the end of the day, Tyrion, later in the show, as I'm sure you know, becomes a bumbling idiot. Like, you know, he makes, oh, I'm not here to eat your children jokes and like blah, blah, blah. Like, it is not the same character that, you know, you start off with. And I personally, and he obviously makes terrible decisions that lead to a lot of problems. You know, like, you're like, oh my God, I thought he was supposed to be smart. Like, every decision he gives Dany is terrible. And like, part of that, in my opinion, is that they took away his motivation. Because he is actively trying to get vengeance with his family. Like, that's his driving motivation for, like, in his, you know, you're in his head, you're in, like, you know, he's sailing down the river. And, like, the whole time he's like, you know, I want to kill my sister. Which, you know. But, like, the show really liked Peter Dinklage. They were attached to Peter Dinklage. He was getting very famous. he was a big deal. And they didn't want to commit to the bit of like making him evil. So instead they just like made him passive and boring. And it's like one of those like, oh, it's such a wasted opportunity because like he should be angry, he should be evil, he should be giving Danny these like awful advice. But like that leads to it. And like honestly, like I suspect that like Danny burning the city is definitely something that happens. You might not like that fact, but I suspect that it is something that actually happens in the show, right? But the important detail is I suspect it happens because of Tyrion. I suspect that like Tyrion either like gives her bad information, is like, you know, I spoke to my sister, she said like no surrender, and like so you have to like burn the city down or whatever. I suspect like it's something like that, but we'll never know because they don't make him what he should be. He never like they don't double down on Tyrion as a character, so he just becomes this like bland mush of like non-existent, like just I'm a funny little short man. And it's like no. And look, I could go on a long rant about like every single character. Like Jaime's another one where it's like, as I'm sure you know from the book, like Jaime's whole motivation is that Jaime is a character that cares deeply about honor, right? Jaime's entire character is like, what do you do as an honorable person when the rest of the world thinks you're a scumbag? And your most honorable act in your life, like the most important act of your life that should have made you a hero, made you like this hated figure in society. And like he just does it by coping, right? He just like accepts it, like, you know, they'll never love me, so fuck it, I'll just be the guy you know, I'll just be the person they want to hate. I'll just be that person. And it's like, okay, but you know, obviously when he breaks free from his sister, there is also the no, but look, to get those wildfires going, she probably does roast something. And maybe she realizes, okay, they are surrendering, and then it goes a bit out of control. But she probably does roast them a little bit. There's definitely a little bit of dragon barbecue. Personally, it's somewhere in that mix. Or at least like maybe the negotiations, like the surrender negotiations, go badly artificially. Like there's a lot that should happen with Tyrion. That's my point. It's like, but Jaime obviously struggles with who he is, what he is, like, and all of that role in his life, right? It's like, and his sister definitely makes that worse and blah, blah, blah. But, and what they show chooses to do, and maybe they will choose that direction. I really hope it doesn't, because technically they could, because like, Jaime is one of George R. R. Martin's favorite characters, and I doubt they would choose to have him go back to Cersei. It's like, but the message of like, no matter how much you try, you will always go back to like your abusive relationship and going back to being a shit person. It's like, that's the message the show wants to give with Jaime. It's like, is it possible he would go there? Yes. It is. Like, I can't ever be like, no, they would never do that. They absolutely could. I just hope they don't. Because what they do with him, like, obviously is, oh, look. Look at that. Look at that right there. I'm gonna peace out. No, you know what? I'll take the city. I'll take the city and then I'll peace out Dolgan. And then we're gonna go find Yuanbo. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be fun. But like what they do with a lot of those characters, they take away that crucial moment. So for him, it's like being told that Cersei cheated on him the whole time. He never finds it out. I don't think the show ever tells him. Because obviously, you know, Tyrion throws that in his face and he realizes that she was cheating on him and that she was, you know, she takes advantage of him and blah, blah, blah. Because like the only person she loves is Rhaegar, or at least the idea of Rhaegar. That's the other thing that they don't address in the show as much, as like Cersei hates Robert because Robert loves the idea of Lyanna more than he loves her. Like, you know, they have sex and then like the thing that he says after he's done is like Lyanna, right? And like, I can understand, yeah, but if you find out from the Faith militant, you can like dismiss it. You can be like, well, of course they'd say that, you know, blah, blah, blah. They attacked my poor cousin, like they attacked my poor cousin Lancel and look how he turned out. Like, you can dismiss it. You can dismiss it. I don't think it has the same like weight as like, and it's never like seen. It's never seen on screen, so it didn't happen. But like, so what was I was talking about something. I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about 2 seconds ago? Like,
Do not waste my potential.
what was I talking about? I was on a roll there. What was I talking about?
You summon me.
I forgot. What was I talking about? So I'll just continue. Like, I'll just continue with what I think I was talking about. Like, so, like, he struggles with this idea of like, I'm a shit person. Everybody thinks I'm a shit person, and he realizes that like, she cheated on me, whatever. Oh, I was talking about Robert and Cersei. There we go. There we go. I'm going back through my points till I get it. Like, Cersei hates Robert because Robert like is attached to the idea of Lyanna more than he would ever love her. And that's a valid complaint, but it's also massively hypocritical because Cersei simultaneously likes the idea of Rhaegar much more than she's attached, because she doesn't know Rhaegar. Like, most people don't know Rhaegar. Like, it's one of those like thing that everybody has this like idea of Rhaegar, and if you read for the various perspectives on Rhaegar, you notice that like a lot of people have very different perspectives on him. I don't think anybody like I saw a video of like Order of the Green Hand on YouTube, which was used to be like to make these like really wild theories, but actually kind of backed up, where like he maybe was just actually like a bit of a weirdo, crazy. I wouldn't go that far, but like I think he was definitely very like closed off from the world. So it definitely helps you like build an image of him that was probably not very real. So she simultaneously had this idea of Rhaegar that like probably was not 100% accurate either. And once again, he died before she could ever break it. And that's like, if you want someone to have like a really good, you want to like those really abusive relationships where you like, oh my God, you regret it for years. It's usually the relationship where you didn't like have enough time to like, you built an idea up in your head of a person, but you never like got long enough in a relationship to break it. And that's definitely what they had going on, because like she never met the guy, she never like dated the guy, she never married the guy. And like the guy clearly had issues because he like, yeah, he felt he was doing it for prophecy, but he still abandoned his pregnant wife and like wandered off and fucked over his whole kingdom because like the prophecy said so. It probably doesn't point to the most stable of mindsets, right? There's clearly a lot going on there that like will never really be explored by either the books of the show, because you'll never finish the books. And I we'll get on that in a second. But like, so she hypocritically, and then the other person that Cersei loves more than anything else is Cersei loves herself. The person that like a lot of people like, oh, like, Cersei loves her children. And the show likes to double down on Cersei loves her children. And I don't think that's quite what happens in the book. I think Cersei views her kids as an extension of herself. So they are me, they are mini me's, and like, especially Joffrey is like Cersei has a lot of issues with like not being a woman, and she struggles with that. So like having someone who basically acts like her temperamentally, right, but as a guy, she had a lot of attachment to the idea of Joffrey. But obviously she was also very like blind of, Joffrey's negative qualities. Let's put it diplomatically, right? So there's all this nuance in the book that obviously the show can't address. And don't get me wrong, there are moments in the show added in that are really good moments of nuance. That conversation that, Robert and Cersei have, that show-only conversation they have in the first season, where they actually do reminisce of like, how did our relationship get so bad? Like, was there ever a time we loved each other? Like all of that. Where the hell is Yuan Bo again? Oh, he's there. I can't lose track of him. I'm gonna kill him. Like, yeah, but she loved him before that. I see what you mean about the control, but like she loved him before that. There's a little bit more going on. I think part of it is like an extension of herself, and like maybe like her, but yeah, like it is one of those like things from the show that like there are, look, I'm not a show hater. I think the show, up to a point, obviously, unfortunately, you always have to specify that, up to a point, is one of the like greatest pieces of TV in a while. Like, I've not watched every show, right? But it is really good. It lives up to that hype. It's not one of those like completely overhyped shows. But the books add that level of depth. And I love the like, it's one of those shows that also adds so much to a reread, because like, obviously George R. R. Martin writes it from the perspective of each character, right? So you read it from one character's perspective, and then you they don't have all the information, so they don't put something together that you can put together later. For example, exactly like how much was going on that is like, and obviously a lot of like, the issue with the books now is that it's been so many years that like everything has kind of been broken down, but like it's theorized, for example, that, and I actually, I noticed that one on my own is like, Euron Greyjoy. Now, in the show, he's a bumbling moron, you know, finger in the bum, fucking, let's not even talk about how they ruined that one. That one still, that one is one that actually does still annoy me. But like, in the show, obviously, you know, he's this Lovecraftian, I'm gonna become, if you've read the like preview chapters, if you've never read them, like, he is like straight up doing a demonic summoning. And like, you know, with sacrificing his child from this girl he got pregnant, and like a priest from every faith burning on like the prows of his boats, and like all this like really like impressive imagery, right? And then in the show, once again, he's like, finger in the boom. But like one little bit of dialogue that he's speaking to Damphair, and like one little bit of dialogue that he doesn't pick up on because it doesn't mean anything to him, is that he talks about, when I was a boy, I wanted to fly. And it's this little tiny detail. And there's not much to build on about that, but like, it's similar to the One-Eyed Crow. Like that motif of like learning to fly is a very like One-Eyed Crow motif. And in Bran chapters, they mention like he has a lot of like bodies of people around, like the imagery, like there's a lot of like, clearly Bran is not the first person the One-Eyed Crow like reaches out to. And there's this idea which I really like. So once again, is it completely backed up? No. Is it ever going to be confirmed? Also no. But like I'm going to stick with it, that like Euron is someone that that the One-Eyed Crow tried to reach out to as like a failed Bran, as like an attempt to make Bran, and like that's how he learned like this magical understanding that he obviously uses in like the rest of his life. So like once again, and that's just like one little line that like builds, and that one is less confirmed. There's a lot that is like confirmable. So there's, like in the early books, what's important to note is like Tyrion is really smart, right? But Tyrion never really catches on to the small game. So he catches on to Pycelle, and he catches on to like what they're up to and like the small stuff. But he never figures out what like Littlefinger's up to, right? And he never figures out what he never even gets a hint at what the eunuch is up to. I always call him the eunuch because I always forget his name. But like then he's never even like 5% close to figuring out what the eunuch gets up to. So he's less smart than he thinks. But yeah, I don't know. Once again, I think the reality for the books, right, is that they will never be, the books will never be finished. And I don't think I want them to be finished because very clearly, oh, yeah, you know, I don't mind. It's not, he's very far away. The books will never be finished in a way that is satisfying because he really clearly wanted the show to be his legacy. Because, you know, the show was happening, then he started writing all the background information for like House of the Blood and Fire, which is a really good book. It's like, it's surprisingly a good book. Fire and Blood. But he started moving on to his side projects. So he thought like, oh, the show will be my Lord of the Rings movies, and it will live on in infamy. And then obviously the show got ruined, and now he kind of like makes noises about finishing it. Now there is the possibility that he has them finished and he's just never going to release them until he dies. That is possible. But I'm worried about is like, he didn't want to write them. Like he very clearly moved on to other things. And if he feels forced to write them now, he's doing it kind of like out of obligation. So will it have the heart into it? Who knows? Now, where is Yuan Bao? So let's track him down. Let's get moving. I'm almost there. We're going to murder him. Then I'm going to murder his entire faction. And we're gonna go through with it. I probably should have kept this conversation more on like Warhammer today. But I just wanted to like have side conversations today. Because like, once again, these are things I like. They're niche things. Because, you know, Game of Thrones, that's the thing, is like, Game of Thrones has no cultural impact anymore, right? Nobody cares about Game of Thrones. I'm gonna watch House of the Dragon, but even I can admit that like House of the Dragon Season 1 is really good. House of the Dragon Season 2 is much more mixed, to the point that like, you know, even George was like, guys, Why? Like, I have a finished book this time. Why the fuck are you changing things? Just stick to the book, please. Why can't you fuckers stick to the book? Why did you change Blood and Cheese? Because, like, I felt really dumb because I was hyping out, like, first episode, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And then, like, How did you mess that up? How the fuck did you mess that up? Like, it should be such an easy open and shut case. And then they fucking messed up Blood and Cheese. It's like, fuck's sake. Why? Why? Yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping I'm definitely gonna watch season 3. I'm hoping it'll be good. I hope so. Genuinely. But who knows? We'll see. I think it's telling that, like, even George complained about it, and then, like, had to, like, and then he got to delete his post because I think, you know, HBO is like, the fuck, no, shut up, we're doing our own thing now. You can't, like, openly, like, disagree with us in our direction. Because it messes with the chronology of, like, future events. I'm not going to spoil because it is a TV show that people might actually watch. But it does mess, like, the fact that, like, the kid was killed, like, the wrong kid, they changed one of the genders of the kid does matter for later, and other details they changed. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they goofed up. Like, and then, like, they mess up one of the key points of that undermines the entire show. So in season 1 of Game of Thrones, one of the key things that shows up is that a Baratheon child, no matter what the bloodline is, will have black hair. And, like, to the point that it unironically overpowers the Targaryen features. You know, the sea snakes, you know, the black guy in the show. I don't really know a better way to put it. I'm just going with the black guy in the show. Like, his wife, who is, you know, a Targaryen and has a dragon, right, is half Baratheon. And in the book, she has black hair. She has, like, partially black. There's black in her hair. And that makes sense. Do you think we can attack him? I think we can attack him. I think he's in legal attack range. And that makes sense because that, like, that supports the Joffrey thing and it supports the thing. And the show, we're not diplomatically on time. Doesn't matter. We're going to fight it. Oh, we're at war with the ogres now. Oh, that's going to be difficult. So, like, that supports the whole thing because, you know, Baratheons have black hair. That is the whole season 1 of Game of Thrones. But then they gave her standard Targaryen features while changing the sea snakes features because he shouldn't look like that. So why? Like, it probably was a detail of inattention, but, like, 2 seconds with George, she could, like, they described the character. She has black hair, but I think they were too worried about people thinking, like, oh, why does she have a dragon? She's not a Targaryen. She doesn't have like black hair, right? And it's like, fuck's sake. Like it's all these, like, unnecessary little changes all the time that, like, well. Once again, I think season 1 stands on its own. Season of, like, Blood of the Dragon. Not entirely. But, like, if you watch it more as, like, the king's life, if you watch it as, like, here's the story of the king's life, the previous king, like, how his, like, actions led to it, like, to things. And, like, even once again, it's one of those things, like, not every change is bad. Even George really likes what they did with the changes they made in season 1 of House of the Dragon. But yeah, 2 seconds, let me just take shots right now. But, like, even George likes some of the changes they made. So it's not like, once again, it's not like every change bad, but definitely some change unnecessary. Like, once again, changing the gender of the kids doesn't add anything and actually makes things a lot messier. Because, like, what do you mean you can't tell which one's the son? They're children, just check. Like, and so it's a bit bad if he checks. Like, yeah, he's murdering children. I think he's not above checking their underwear. It's like, it becomes a really dumb scene. It's like, which one's the boy? And it's like, sorry, you two are adult men and you can't figure out which one of these two is the boy? Like, it becomes like a slapstick comedy scene almost, you know? It's like, you should be able to figure out which one's the boy. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. Let me just fight that. Now Gotrik's doing. But yeah, it's like, it becomes this like unintentional, stupid comedy moment. Is like, oh, we don't know which one's the boy. Which one has, there we go, this one has all the skills. Let me go to Fatum Juna, specific things. I'm gonna commit more wizards to the fight. I might as well just commit more wizards to the fight so I can actually like do stuff. We have her coming over to help too. But yeah, it just like, changes can be good. Once again, we've both agreed that like the change to that one scene definitely adds a lot. But then there's like the writer, and this is an issue with a lot of shows, right? Is like some writers just like don't want to write like the person's show or like thing. They buy an IP so that they can just make their own project inside somebody else's property because they can't make their own successful show. But if they can like get someone to pay for it, then like they can just make their own show with like wearing somebody else's like skin, for lack of a better word, you know, somebody else's like very obviously somebody else's like IP. And it's like, I hate when that happens. It's just like so annoying. But it seems to be the trend these days, right? Every show does that now. Let me engage this in melee, and then once I'm engaged in melee, and they won't leave anymore, then we do that. But yeah. It messes up cause like once again, the entire thing, and once again he reads it himself. Like if any like the show writers had read the book, they would have seen the scene of like, oh, what's his name? Ned reads the book and is like, this Targaryen, this Baratheon child, black of hair, this Baratheon child, black of hair, this Baratheon child, black of hair. So when the actual TV show gives you a Baratheon child, not black of hair, it's like, what does that mean? Like, that shouldn't happen, but it did. So once again, it just opens this unnecessary question. Like that change didn't need to happen. There we go. Kill him, Gotrek. Run him down. And it's like, that one was more of an inattention. There's other ones when it's like, this was like they are, and it's the same issue they had with Tyrion, right? They're afraid to make certain good guy characters bad guys. So, you know, they have a very clear side in this war. Every bad action that the green, which one's the green? The greens are, you know, Rhaenyra's side. They make sure that no matter what, anything bad Rhaenyra has ever done was an oopsie accident, and she didn't mean to. And everything bad that the blacks do is is a completely serious act of evil. It was fully intention, and they meant every little inch of it. It's like, that's not how it should go. That doesn't make for a very interesting story, because like the point of, once again, the book, and the point of how George writes characters is there's nuance, right? But there's no nuance, because it's like one side good, other side bad. It's like, and there's not a lot to argue with at that point. It's like, okay, underwhelming. I'm losing health here. Oh, that's because I'm in melee with actual melee units. Let me pull out. So yeah. Oh well, I think we should go back to like actually talking about the subject. I think realistically, like, the streams are a bit mixed. Some days it works really well. I've had like 20 people, 25 people come in and watch on YouTube, and then they didn't stay. So I think I should probably talk a little bit more Warhammer, because people are probably here for the Warhammer. And I'm sitting here talking about completely unrelated topics, which, don't get me wrong, I as I'm sure you can tell, clearly enjoy this topic, but that's not what the audience is not here. So I'll go back to ranting at my wife about how they ruin TV shows that she hasn't even watched. Yeah. Let's see. Once again, we have killed Yuan Bo, so I'm actually really curious as what that's gonna do for him. The good news is we'll go fight other things. If I have to fight the ogres, ogres make a really good target for lore of magic, so that'll be good. Final transmutationing ogres is a really good thing to do. Wait, it reminds me, we have a lot of ogres on the field now. Where's my Fate Objunas? That's just Fate Objuna things. That's good. So let's focus fire. Yeah, I'm worried. look, I'm worried about it from a monopoly standpoint, but then everybody's worried about it from a monopoly standpoint. I don't think I'm particularly novel for doing that, but I'm also worried about it from a perspective of just like Netflix. Takes forever to make shows, which is a joke, but it's also like a serious point against Netflix. Like HBO is not very fast either, right? But like they're still faster. And then second of all, like they also tend to make weird shows. I don't like, it depends, like, do they keep the team? Because I look, I think if you're buying HBO, you're definitely going to try to make Game of Thrones stuff, right? But will that affect production? Will that, like, be another, like, thing that could, like, add more delays? Is like, who knows? I'm more worried about, like, what it can do to, like, shows in progress. Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, which I'm not honestly excited about. Like out of all of the series, I like all of the books, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is definitely a bit underwhelming for me. I was never really sold on it. It's like fun, it exists. There's a lot of like, once again, there's another one that's like a lot of little lore details, because he likes to like, pretty much all of his books have like, all of his side books have like a million details about Targaryen this, Targaryen that, which like is interesting to read about, right? I'm going back on Game of Thrones. Let's go back on topic. Let's get back on topic for today at least. I think we've had a good talk about other things, and I think we're good. So yeah, let me take my side wizard, who is getting shot by these guys, and let me purple sun this. Yeah. Once again, another time I'll do a stream on like, or maybe I'll even do a full video on Game of Thrones, but I'll actually like make it the title of the stream. I think people are coming in here expecting Warhammer talk, and I'm sitting here talking about Game of Thrones, which, you know, probably has some crossover in its audience, but it's not quite what people were expecting when they jump in, right? So yeah, I kind of want to let it live, but I would like it to focus on God. I would like it to fire on Gotrik's position. The sky junk, the blimp models for like cafe on the tabletop look incredible. It looks horrific to build and paint. Have you seen the balloon, the war balloon for cafe on like in painting, like on the actual tabletop model, by the way? Because if you haven't, you should. It's great. It looks incredible. Like all of the cafe range looks incredible, because Old World used to be like, here's the stuff that we released 1,000 years ago, and like, but now instead they're like, oh, we're making fresh stuff. And that's what the thing that I find really weird about Old World on the tabletop is like they focused on not the period in time that is focused on in the game, right? Because the game is the age of Karl Franz. I don't know if that's the official name for it, but let's call it the Age of Karl Franz, right? And they have all of these characters that people care about. And yes, I know End Times ended it, so technically they can't. But it's not like they've never done a rewrite, right? It's not like they've never ever rewritten. There's an unbreakable. Oh no, it's the ogres. So wait, the ogres don't break independently. I actually didn't know that. Like, if two factions were on the field, I didn't know that if they were not on the field, like two armies would break independently from each other. That's actually kind of interesting. I think I just broke the second one. But yeah, like, have you seen the other one that looks really cool? Is the new Nurgle stuff. So have you seen the new Festus? Just literally type in new Festus model. Look at that thing. He looks incredible. And like the old Festus model and like Festus in game doesn't look that interesting, but like that model, ooh, it looks good. That is a sexy model. Like, okay, he's not sexy, right? Because he's Nurgle, but like that's a good model. And like, it doesn't even look that like particular, maybe I'm bullshitting myself, but it doesn't look particularly complex to paint. So it's like, I've been getting more like sold on like Nurgle, like faction over time. So I'm kind of like, so like, if you don't know, you know, you seem to be knowing what you know a bit, right? Like there's the Christmas boxes from like last year. They did a Nurgle box for AOS, and like you can still find it in UK retailers. Like, because like AOS is obviously way less popular. You'll never get a Christmas box from 40K like a year later. With AOS, you still can, especially for like the less popular stuff. Skaven, not so much, but like Nurgle, you definitely can. And I'm kind of like, I have a shelf full of miniatures, so I really shouldn't, but like, it's still available. It's still really cheap because I can get it in the UK and I can have like, I put it at my dad's place and I pick it up one day, right? It's like, maybe I should. Why is this guy, these Noblars, why are these Noblars holding so damn well? Let me just, there we go. Why are other Noblars holding? Why are the Noblars the last line of defense here? But yeah, I agree with you. 40k has some cool units. Like, I've looked at like the Lion and it's like, damn, I'd paint that. That looks good. That looks really good as like, it looks better than Gilliman. Gilliman, I don't know if it's like the age of the Gilliman model, because the Gilliman model is not new, right? But Gilliman, the face, I think it's the face. I think the face bothers me. But I also wouldn't want to run him as a helmeted guy because like that looks weird too. So it's like, but the Lion looks pretty good. But like I agree with like at a base level, it doesn't have the spice. It doesn't have a flair. 40. Now the reality is, I think realistically, when 40k comes out, I'm definitely probably gonna like start splitting my content with 40k. And if I, same with this game, right? If I get into this 40k for the next 10 years or whatever, and over time I'll probably get more into like the faction, and then blah blah blah. But I might get more attached to 40k the same way that like. Please tell me that I have the Slight Lose Outpost, defeat 20% on all spells. We did it. I did it. I have the skill. I have the last thing I need. Let me go attack that. Let me do a test run. Let me do a test run. How low can I get a final transmutation? I did it. It took a while. This was definitely a longer stream as these go, but oh boy. Let's just, I'm sending in Gelt alone. No, you know what? Fuck, it'll take too long. I want to fight something tough. I want to murder the other dragons. I think I'm gonna go murder it. Yeah. 339 magic indeed. Look at that. 67. We are, and all my spells are gonna cost nothing. And honestly, look, not only that, but if I wanted to, I have infinite magic because I have these two. Let me see how. Let me see. I can Spirit Leech for 1, and even on the other one, I can Spirit Leech for 2. So I have infinite magic because I get 2.6 magic for every 1 magic I spend. So I have infinite magic. It is case. Oh my god! Upgraded final transmutation for 4. Hey Neov, welcome to the most disgusting thing ever. 330 magic reserves, 4 cost final transmutation, Balthasar Gelt. We did it. We did it. It is beautiful. I do intensity 200%. We did it. We did it. That does not, it is doing, look, it is actually killing Noblar. It shouldn't be hurting Noblars that much, but holy crap, we did it. Let me just delete things. I can cast anything for like 1 to 4 mana. We actually built it. I'm very happy with that. I'm glad I built it. Like, look, I don't even need all, I was like, oh, I didn't get all the like magic reserve skills I could have gotten. I don't need the magic reserve skills. I have infinite magic reserves. I have arcane conduit. Look at all my arcane conduits. I'm building mana faster than I could spend it. I did it. This is the most disgusting magic. The only thing that would be better, and as I've said before, is Elspeth. The only thing that I'm like, damn it, I should confederate Elspeth. It's like, but the AI doesn't want to confederate with me, and I'm not motivated enough to like force it, because the reality is like, I just declared war on Cafe, so I'm probably gonna have to fight them, right? And then on top of that, I've declared war on that's not, they're healing. Why are they healing so fast? Did I have a wizard? They shouldn't have a wizard. They're just a faction. There's a garrison. I saw him actively healing faster than I was hurting him. You know what? Okay. You know what? I need a better test area. Let me go over here. Hey, Hixie, how you doing? Pretty good. You missed out, both of you. So you and Neov here missed out on my lengthy Game of Thrones rants. And I was having two very long conversations this morning. I had a conversation about like my very mixed experience in Vietnam once. I probably should cast it on the Lord, right? But let me just... It doesn't matter. I can afford to multicast. Let me just delete everything. We have done 12,000 damage in value. I'll do it on the Lord. I'll wait for the Lord to isolate himself and I'll blast down the Lord. So 20 seconds. And we're just doing it. We are building the so, hey, Kixie, did you see? Upgraded final transmutation for 4 mana. And I have 200 in reserve. There we go. Let's just delete a Lord. Do they have magic reserve? Why? This is underwhelming. Like, nothing challenges me, but I kind of feel like it should do a little bit more. This is disappointing. Let me try out another wizard. Let me fade up June of these. Come here. Let me bring these chickens over. And how you are both doing today? And how is anyone else doing on YouTube, by the way? Let me cast. I mean, it works. And I probably like okay, I don't generate, I still don't, it's not a positive spell. It does still require some cast. You're playing Ashen, good luck with that. You know what I was really surprised to hear? I was doing a deal, my DLC tier list on YouTube, right? And then somebody in the comments tells me that the Poison Wind Mortars for Ashen are not an Ikit unit. And I could have sworn it was an Ikit unit. Like, if you think about it, it's like Poison Wind, but then I thought about it, I was like, okay, Poison Wind, like Poison Gas, maybe Ninja. I was like, I can see it. But if you'd put a gun to my head and you'd ask me which DLC did Poison Wind Mortars come from, I would have told you Ikit without even a second thought. But it turns out that was incorrect. But it was more of a rant on like how they fundamentally mess up characters. Don't trick me. You could easily get me going again. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, if you want to watch it, I'd recommend it. But like, it's like how like they made small changes to certain characters because they didn't want to make them bad guys. So like Tyrion Lannister, they like very attached. Like Tyrion is a very popular character, right? So they didn't want to make him as the bad guy he's supposed to become, and like it makes it worse. It makes it worse. Like it just like they don't commit to the bit, and it means like, yeah, fucks up Jaime's redemption is a big one. Is like they fundamentally don't understand Jaime. Like, don't even get me started on Euron. Euron's another one. It's like, oh, finger in the bum, moron. It's like, no. He's supposed to be fucking summoning Cthulhu. He's supposed to be like the Antichrist, and instead it's like, finger in the bum. It's like, there's so many that it's like, damn it. But yeah, look at that. We're just casting. I can cast infinite magic. I think, yeah, once again, I definitely feel like I've reached the end point of this build. Like, this is as good as it's gonna get. I can't lose. I have a healing wizard who can heal for 2 mana regrowth and 1 mana Earthblood. I physically can't lose. So it's more like I have definitely tried out the maximum power. The only way I could theoretically lose would maybe be like very specific player controlled builds. I can think like, you know, corn. You know that the corn dog, the literal corn dog, the one that shuts down magic, and also the whatchamacallit, the chaos dwarf that shuts down magic. And there's also like a lot of things like if you could build like a specific stack of magic defense, right? That could definitely hurt. The issue with chaos dwarfs is chaos dwarfs are really slowly lagged behind, and everyone just got so much stronger. Let me just finish this. The issue that chaos dwarfs have is that chaos dwarfs struggle with pinpoint anti-large. So, you know, they have that really famous stuff, right? You know, you got your dreadquakes and your blah blah blah, but like that's the issue. Like dreadquakes are not they're not really good at like anti-single entity. Is Gotrek is taking damage, huh? Okay, so tell me what you're doing. Let me ask you a question. What are you running in your army? That's my first question to you. Is like, what are you running in your army?
They'll never move again.
Hixie, tell me. Let me give you. You need to tell me what you're doing so I can give you better advice. Let me start healing. And then also, who are you fighting and what turn are you on? Those are the free things that I'm going to ask you. Give me those free bits of information and I can then like give you specific advice. Let's say I'm just going to go wild on the magic. I can afford to. I wasn't using the other Fate of Juna because I was like, oh, it's 11. Then I realized, why the hell do I care? Just blast away. Let me just actually let me just use, that's my main issue is I have a wizard stack and I'm only using one wizard to test them out. I should just use, all the magic. And sorry, let me get, I'm literally chasing Gelt as Ashen. The good news is Gelt, Ashen is probably, especially player Ashen versus AI Gelt, it's not probably that hard of a matchup. Now earlier, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was doing, Ashen versus Gelt, and I just double casted on Ashen and just deleted him on, so yeah, that wasn't a good time for him. But, yeah, you don't have that problem. That's a neat part. They won't meme. You know that meme? Pretty much that meme. They could. But I think part of the issue, and look, I'm gonna give more credit to CA than they deserve. Part of the issue is that this game is built on 10 years worth of foundation, right? Is that it's built on 10 years of foundation that is breaking at the seams all the time. And so maybe even if they wanted to, they might not physically be able to. Now, once again, whether or not they actually want to or whether they're just kind of coasting by, that's up to how much, benefit of the doubt you want to give CA, right? But assuming you give them a good faith interpretation, it might just be that there's so much like tech depth in the game, but like physically they can't do all of the changes they would want to do. For example, the siege rework is taking forever. Now, that could just be that they're completely focused on 40k and they have like a really tiny team, and that's probably also part of it, right? So they don't have probably a big team working on Warhammer Free anymore. They probably don't, being realistic. So that's point one. And then point two is turn 70th. Okay. Do you own, now next question. Do you own the Queen and the Crone DLC? Do you own Sisters of Avalon? If you don't, then you won't know what that is. But like, do you own a Sisters of Avalon? On round 20, building. Yeah, you should make sure you don't get line of sight on Rapons. Getting line of sight on Rapons is just asking for unnecessary problems. Like, you have no reason to, basically. And, like, you can just avoid her beefing with you by just never meeting her. Like, if you do my plan where you take Sartosa, then you can use Sartosa as a choke point, because as a lightning rod, it's always good to use specific settlements as lightning rod for the AI. So, for example, when you play as Carl, it's good to use Erengrad as a lightning rod for, like, all of Chaos's invasions. They will focus on the Erengrad settlement, and then they don't go attack your squishy underbelly. And it's the same thing with, like, other cities. So, yeah, I started making them after realizing I had them, but I realized, oh, well. Okay, so what I was going to tell you, and I'm going to give you that advice, is that White Lions of Crace, a dog water. Complete trash. Absolutely awful. All the terms, all the terminology you want to use, they are no bueno. Completely terrible. So don't run that. And same with the White Lion, same with the Dragon of 2 is good, but the Shadow Wars, unless you are playing, unless you are playing, Alifanar, they are not so good either, because basically your army is doing like 3 different things at once. You have your frontline holders, so, And then at the same time, you have an Alefanar running around stack. And technically they could work together. But right now you have a bunch of spearmen, which are meant to hold the line so your damaging units do damage, but you don't have any archers or anything behind them, right? So what you want to be running is your late game high elf army should be Silver and Guard, followed by just Sisters of Avalorn. Now, if you really want me to be pedantic about it, technically the Silver and Guard are unnecessary. You can effectively run a full Sisters of Avalorn stack without any backup. Like, they can do it easily. But maybe that's not quite the unit variety you want, blah, blah, blah. So assuming you want to do it a more proper way, then you just run... let me just keep deleting this. Why do they not break anymore? These guys are not breaking that hard. But, like, you want to be... Basically, as high elves, and that's what makes the only the big negative for high elves, right? Is that high elves run on bow and spear. And that they don't have a lot of unit variety because the optimal way to play them is spears and bows and spears. And if you're lucky, your bows have spears. I love that. I made up that line and I love using that line. But like your best unit in the game is your Lovren Sea Guard because your Lovren Sea Guard get their the melee red line and they also get the archer red line. But late game, you run Silver and Guard because they have incredible defenses. They actually have really magic resistant too. They're very, very tanky for the amount of money you pay. There's technically Phoenix Guard that's better, but actually you're paying, it's not worth to get a Phoenix Guard unless you really want to do a meme stack with like Radrian or some shit, right? But like, if you run Silver and Guard, they are incredible line holders, and then you do a bunch of Sisters of Avalorn behind them to really like pack the punch. That's how you do, high elves. And the reality is, that's pricier, but you can win the entire game running archers and spear stacks. Just basic archers with armor. So I was having that issue, I was having that comment a lot in my guide on Techless. Is like, why do you run archers, light archers with armor? And the reason you do that is because armor matters for auto resolve. So obviously in this game, you're not going to fight every single fight. I had one guy roll into my comments and act like I was weird for not fighting every single fight in this game, but nobody does. So there are going to be fights in this game, but you are not going to play manually. So you ideally never want your archers to get into actual physical melee. I completely agree. Like in theory, it doesn't matter, but in reality it does because you don't want your archers to get in melee. So that being the case, it doesn't matter to have armor, but because auto resolve is a thing, getting armored archers is very beneficial. So yeah, what you want to do is you want to get armies that auto resolve very well, which Sisters of Avalorn auto resolve very well, because as I said, the game cares about armor and auto resolve, and the game cares about missiles and armor resolves. So spears and Sisters of Avalorn especially auto resolve very, very well especially for their tier, and they also perform really, really well on the battlefield. So that's my recommended combination for you. It's like you want something that's gonna like really work. That's what you do. Is like you just, yeah, the AI is always gonna have more than you. That's normal. I agree with the comments. Like the AI is gonna have more than you. So what you need to do, you need to remember that the AI will have more armies than you, but the AI doesn't know how to build its armies. You, as long as you're building a semi-competent army, any army can outperform an AI army. Like I'm running like I'm running a Pistolier stack on Volkmar. Don't get me wrong, it's shit. It is absolutely awful, unspeakably bad. It is not good, but it will beat pretty much any AI army the game throws at me because the AI doesn't build AIs competently most of the time. There are exceptions. I've seen some AI armies when I was like. But like 99% of the time, like you'll be fine. So yeah, you can't, Skaven are terrible. The only unit that auto resolves well as Skaven is your Warp Fire Foes. Warp Fire Foes auto resolve really well. Everything else, let's not even talk about it. So that's the thing, is like the game like as a player, you want to be running those really powerful units, right? You want to be running a dragon stack. Now, if you can confederate Imric, run a dragon stack, because Imric can get those costs really low on their upkeep. But most of the time, the optimal way to play, unfortunately, is to run like whatever basic infantry performs really well. For oh god. I can't win that. There's a bit too many of them. Like if it wasn't for like the scrap launchers and the lead belchers, maybe I had a chance. Because I could like hold with these and then I could shoot them. But there's just a bit too many high powered stuff in the second army. But so unfortunately, and this is this weird conundrum with the game where the optimal way to play is to usually build armies of cheap armies that perform really well. Also, is there ever a reason other than the bad climate and things like to not occupy a town? Ideally, for land, so like orange, I would roll with it. If you have an orange settlement, I would still keep it. But red settlements, you want to give it to an AI. So you build a red, so as I always say, you build a red military building in it. So one of the like the basic military buildings. The AI will sell you their mother for a settlement with a red military building. They will give you anything you want for it. So just do that. Now, what was I saying? You want to run as many armies of competent, like, cheap stuff as you can. The good news is for high elves is that high elves cheap stack. So in this case, archers and spears, you can late game pretty much anything with archers and spears. If you run a good archers and spear stack with like maybe a wizard and a lord that has all the right like buffs and stuff, you can definitely do a lot of work with it. So it's not like a bad thing, you know? I want a good challenge. I want to fight a legendary lord with Gelt. Speaking of which, no, that's not a legendary lord. I thought that was a legendary lord. So like that's my recommendation is just like have one army that is like really, really like buffed up to all hell because it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It is fun to have that one army that is running all the stupid things and like you're going ham. But for most of your force, you should be running like relatively good performing armies of cheap stuff. So like unironically, sisters, just a pure auto like Sisters of Avalorn stack with like a hero with like a trait that boosts them, auto resolves really well, and you don't have to fight manual battles. And when you do fight manual battles, most of the time you can win. You just checkerboard. You know how checkerboard works, Pixie? You know what I mean when I say like you just checkerboard your your archers?
No peace, just war. Ulrich's will.
I just want to make sure that you know what I'm talking about before I continue my explanation.
I shall be victorious.
I think I get it, but I have not done it myself. So you take your archers and you put them into squares, then you put another square here, like in the kind of like a chessboard. So they're separate from each other. So that way, if one of them engages in melee, another one is not tied up. If you do a line, then something that like engages in melee with you might actually like lock down two of your units, and it's also harder for the one to its side to shoot at it. Where if it's like in front of, so here and then here, then this one can shoot at the melee unit, and it also is not tied down. Then you had another one there, another one here, another one there. So that's how you position your archers to like have clean line of sights on each other. Now, Neov, are they worth it to play? Yes. Look, I would say it's definitely a good DLC. Out of the two high elf DLCs, getting Queen and the Crone is much better value than getting the other one. It is. Like it is good value. It is a very useful unit. But as I was just telling Hixie here, you can win the whole game on high elves as spears and bows, and then later you can use some dragons if you want to spice things up a little bit in your unit variety. But like Sisters of Avalorn are just more better, and they're also better against specific enemies because they have magic damage, and magic damage is very important, right? Look, the reality, folks, is we've just won the campaign. I've completed my Gelt objective. Is there anything that I really want to do? I feel like maybe I'll go kill the rest of Cafe. So I'll take this, I'll go down there and I'll kill them, and I'll make that my mission statement for the next little bit, for the next hour. But I've completed the mission objective, we've done it. So I'll continue my conversations. Like, high elves will run on, they're very strong. They're an incredibly strong faction. I think where they suffer and where the DLC, like their recent DLC, didn't really help them, is that there's not a lot of variety. On Friday morning my time, so Thursday evening for Europe, we will be doing Tamarcon on the Old World mod. So it's this massive mega map, and I will be doing my first playthrough of Tamarcon. That is what we're gonna do. I could wipe because I'm really not used to Tamarcon, but that's the fun of it, right? It's like that's the idea. Is like just try. Oh, I could build a lord here and then complete this set of islands that the ogres took from me. But yeah, we're gonna play Tamarcon. I'm not much of a Satan worshiper in this game, so it depends. So there's 5 different kinds of chaos factions. There's technically the demons of chaos too, but we don't mention them because they're shit. So there's 5 chaos factions. You do have champions of chaos. Okay, that's good. So you can play the warriors of chaos. So warriors of chaos, which are either like undivided, so you have your Be'lakor or your Archeon, or just you run a bunch every single demons, and you just like use a bit of bit. So you use like maybe some like pink horrors from Siege, and you mix that in with some like Nurgle frontline, and then maybe some like Slanesh flankers and blah blah blah. So that's unbroken. You just run a bit of everything. Now they run on using what is known as Dark Fortress settlements. So it's like the Red Fortress, for example, as a Dark Fortress. Let me get another one for you. It's the ones, I'm pretty sure it's the ones which have a crown. So this is a Dark Fortress, I'm pretty sure. Tells you how much I played it myself. So Dark Fortress, and let me just check. I'll pick one that I'm pretty sure is not a Dark Fortress. Oh, no, that's just a capital. Okay, so when you play as Warriors of Chaos, you get an indication of what's a Dark Fortress and what's not a Dark Fortress. And these are basically your only settlements you care about, and then you get a bunch of vassals. So basically you subjugate people, and you only care about a few settlements on the map, and you basically just unga bunga your way around. They are incredibly powerful, and you're not likely to get challenged. Why does my Twitch say offline? I just realized. I'm just got scared. Okay, we're live. I'm just having that moment. It's like, I just saw my Twitch is set offline now. I realized that Hixie, I've been talking to you this whole time. So, and I've been talking to Tarni as well. So like, it's fine. But like, which one would be better as Lord? If you want to play with all of the tools, play Archeon. If you want to play as like a specific flavor of chaos, then play as like that specific flavor. The only one that I would recommend is like if you're Festus is actually quite a fun Nurgle campaign. The issue is you can't recruit Nurgle lords. So make of that what you will. There's like pros and cons. So now let me just go magic wild. Let me just magic it way. So there's a pro and con. Then you have the specific chaos faction. So you know your Nurgle, your cafe, and then your like your Slanesh, all of those things. Those are like only those units, and they actually run much more. Most of them run much more like a traditional. We're getting shot. We're getting very shot. We're getting very shot. Ow, ow, ow. Most of those run very much like a traditional. So they all have their special sauce, right? So like the Corn runs they all run the very unique campaigns. Nurgle is the most traditional out of them because Nurgle is still running about an empire. You still care about things like an empire. You still care about like settlements and economy. But like, for example, Corn really doesn't care about that. Corn, you run like one settlement and you just unga bunga the world. So it depends. Like they are fun to get to. I like empire building, and most of them except Nurgle don't empire build so much. And my issue with Nurgle is that I like to use a lot of guns. Like guns and like missiles and artillery, and Nurgle doesn't do much of that shit. So those are my quibbles with them, and that's why I don't play them. But I'm playing Tamarcon because like Tamarcon is famously fun, right? And I want to try them out. So that's why we're going to be playing Tamarcon. Now, where is my fire wizard? I'm going to have fun. Look at that. Look at that unit who's just not moving an inch. That is some good infantry. That's some Celestial Dragon Guard. That's some good stuff. Let's delete them. Yeah. Nah, they suck. Don't worry. They suck. I got into a fight with someone, but they suck. Don't worry. It's not you. They're just not fun. I thought I would like them too, because I also like my guns. But yeah, so it's really hard to break down. Like, okay, if you want Slanesh is more like micro heavy. Ah, look at that. There we go. We roast them. That could have gone a bit. I felt more. I was hoping it would bounce off the walls and like double kill, but it works. It works. So Slanesh is more flanking. You really need to micro your units around. You are really working on like getting those like sneaky units in. You are really like. There we go. Where you're just like, it's really micro heavy. It's quite intense. It has a lot of things. You can steal other people's units. So you can like run, so like every fight you can just like take somebody's stuff, like some of their best units. So you can actually play like a lot of units just by having them in your army. Nurgle, as I said, cares about his economy and is actually the most traditional. You're running plagues, you run really tanky, tough units, right? So you rely on just being able to out heal your enemy and out chubby them basically. You're this unkillable blob that like, and you feel like an unkillable blob. Corn is very, very unga bunga melee. I kill thing. I charge. Depending on which one you want. You want to be fighting. You want to be killing. You want to be conquering the world. But you're not running settlements doing. You run like one settlement just to have a home base. But like you can recruit on the march. You can you do all these things that like, and your legendary lords. All three of your legendary lords become these like doom stack absolute monsters. So like Scarbrand can solo. Scarbrand can use. I don't know if he can still do it. I don't know if they changed that. But Scarbrand, unironically, could conquer the world in like one turn, in like 8 turns. I think it was something like 8 turns, and I think some of the records were like, if you pathed optimally, you could conquer the entire map on like turn 8 or 10, the whole map, because you can chain movement. So when you win a fight, you get more movement, and if you pathed correctly, as long as you figured out the optimal pathing to cross the whole world map, you could unironically just cross the entire map by like chaining battles. Do you need Corn DLC? Do you have Warriors of Chaos? Champions of Chaos. Do you have the Champions of Chaos DLC? That's the important one. If you have the Champions of Chaos DLC, I would say that look, the Corn units are not completely useless, like your Skull Crushers and your blah blah blah. Champions I have. Okay, then you don't need it. Just play Arbold. Arbold cares about, you know, your human infantry. And if you have Champions of Chaos, you already have Chosen of Corn. Like technically, your Wrathmongers and your Skull Takers, you know, technically do a slightly different job. But like, you're gonna kill everything the AI has to offer. As I've been saying before, like, the question with playing this game against the AI, and this is where playing against a person is better, is like, as long as you are playing a stack that is supported by the game, as long as like it has a few like traits that buff it and blah blah blah, there is very little stacks in this game where you will not win. Because just like the AI doesn't build competent stacks, right? So because they don't build competent stacks, pretty much anything you build that is properly built and supported by like skills and stuff will win. Just because the AI will not build something better. So once again, will every build win against a player matchup? No. But you're not playing against a player. Against the AI, build whatever makes you happy and you'll be fine. Yeah, just if you have Champions of Chaos, you can do fine. Don't rely on so Bloodthirsters of Khorne are really underwhelming for the demons of the God of War. Rely on his human infantry, and that's why I'm telling you to play Arbold, because Arbold buffs and cares about human infantry a lot more, and that's what you want to be using. You don't actually want to be using his demons because they are no bueno. So, oh my god, I just realized how many units are left in this city. Oh boy. Yeah, so you're just gonna talk. We're just gonna use this as an opportunity to talk. You don't need anything more. Yeah. This is the issue with most Doom stacks you get to, is like, it just kind of drags out. Because you're not at risk, right? I'm not at risk. I could literally probably, like, stop paying attention to this map, and my odds of losing are still quite low because Gotrek and Felix on their own are already quite powerful. But it's just a question of, like, just slogging through it. I think I need to be less careful with my wizards. Let's just go in. Let me find some people to murder. We need to play a bit more aggressively than I'm playing. I tend to play very carefully with my wizards because I'm treating them like as squishy wizards, which is like the way you should play when you actually have a few wizards, right? Gotrek and Felix are fun. Once again, it's one of those things like against a player. So the way you deal with Gotrek specifically, is you want to use magic ammo. So if you have Sisters of Avalorn, that's your answer to Gotrek. Magic ammo of any kind will really, really hurt him. Don't get me wrong. You can stack up quite a lot of resistances, and but it will hurt him. And he also can be punted. The way you want to, the other way you want to deal with him is you want to basically just kick him around like a football. Like if you have like Scarbrand or whatever, you can make sure that Gotrek never physically connects with you, because a unit that gets knocked over can't deal damage. So as long as you like keep punting him, you keep kicking him, you keep like, basically treating him like a football, right? You physically he can't deal damage. So every time you punt him, he deals a little bit of damage. Now, when a unit is knocked over in this game, it doesn't, yeah, I'm glad we're being much more aggressive. A unit is knocked over, it doesn't take more damage. It can't take, a knocked over unit can't take damage. But the initial, like, contact of the initial, like, football strike definitely can hurt him, will hurt him, and you'll do good. How are we doing over here? I just need to, like, once again, I just need to be more aggressive, basically. I'm being too careful. So, like, that's the trip to Gotrek. Gotrek is very vulnerable to magic damage, and he's very vulnerable to magic, like, basically magic damage. It's the same with, like, any Slayers. Like, Slayers in general are very magic damage sensitive. Assuming you're not playing as a dwarfs, he can get bogged down. You don't have to kill Gotrek. You can also just, like, bog him down in, like, unnecessary fights that can, like, make him make him effectively useless, because he's very slow at killing things. Now, when you play as, like, let me go take out these cannons. When you play as, like, when you play as, brain thinky hard, what I'll do you two, huh? You know what, they stay there. I don't really need to. When you, the player, play as, dwarfs, you can get what is called a Rune of Spite. And a Rune of Spite basically acts like a Nemesis Crown. You're doing that, like, cannot figure, I get this objective, take patronage. I think you're not engaging with your new mechanic, your Phoenix Court mechanic. I think that's what that is. I think you're not, you need to start doing your Phoenix Court stuff, I think. Once again, I haven't quite played all of their update yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's a mechanic you're not engaging with. Have you tried confederating other factions? Let me keep focusing on this, because we are getting shot up a little bit. Let me start generating more mana for my infinite. That's not the right spell. I cast Spirit Leech on you. I cast Juna on this. I actually found it. Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad you found it. But yeah, I found that the Phoenix King favor mechanic is really messy. It really doesn't work the way you'd think it does. It doesn't, because, like, oh, you piece a chaos faction because, like, it's strategically good for you to do so. Oh, that's negative. That's negative favor for you now. It's like, okay, there has to be times when it's acceptable. I can understand, like, giving you downsides for, like, joining in wars with, like, chaos. I can understand why that doesn't look great. But, like, you should be able to piece out factions. It's kind of ridiculous that you can't. We are taking damage. We need to fix that. I just realized the Amber Wizard gets an actual melee mount. He's the only one of the, like, Empire Wizards that, like, you don't actually have to be too worried. Let me just keep healing up random things. So, like, yeah, like, that's the thing, is, like, you need to accept the game. It's too sensitive right now. It needs to be toned down a little bit. I think it has potential. And look, getting them a mechanic so you can recruit Legendary Lords. High Elves in general used to be awful at recruitment, like famously terrible. So giving them a recruitment mechanic of some kind is good. I'm glad they did that. They just need to make it a little bit less twitchy. Because right now it's like, you did a piece? Fuck you and your family. It's like that's too much. And where's a Fire Wizard? I I want to fire cast on this. Just yeah. Once again, I need to stop being so sensitive with my wizards. My wizards can definitely fight things now. Yeah, that's that's the combination. Is like, yeah. I'm glad we're gonna play Malachite once again. He's supposed to be. We're gonna play Tamarcon. Tamarcon is quite fun. I hear. I've never actually played him yet, so I think that's gonna be quite interesting for me. And once again, he's technically out of my wheelhouse. So, and then once again, we'll be playing on the old world mod. So we're going to be playing on the massive mega map, which is very fun. The only issue with the old world mod, and this is why I don't recommend it to everyone, is like, if your computer is not the bestest, and without wanting to like suck myself up, I have a decent computer, you are going to suffer in load times. Load times are very, very slow. So like your end turns, because there's like 400, 500 factions, it's a huge map, you will definitely feel the load times if you are not expecting it. You there, go shoot the blimp that's been shooting at me this whole game. I think the towers have probably done more damage to me, and also this cannon that I haven't been realizing is shooting at me. I've been sitting there taking cannon shots this whole time. I was like, oh, why am I taking damage? Yeah, I wonder. Let's go over there. I think we've won at this point. I think we physically can't. We have that thing over there. You go kill the blimp because you can fly. And then let's go kill that. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, ideally speaking, it is a good mechanic. Once again, being able to recruit the legendary lords is one of those things they did for dwarves, and they started doing with dwarves, right, where you can just recruit dead ones, and it's really good. Like, because people enjoy playing with all the Pokemon. Like, that's why like recruit defeated legendary lords is one of everyone's favorite mods, and that's why I always play with that mod. It's like, I hate the fact that like I can't use all of my legendary lords. And it's not technically unbalanced, because at the end of the day, the AI can do it too, right? Because like once again, Norska was running out with Kugaf, which is like even more broken than it should be. So it's actually not like that completely unbalanced, but it is just like, I would rather play with all the Pokemon than not. So I always run that mod no matter what. Now, what unit has not broken is something that hasn't broken yet. They need I need to be able to clear. Ah, here we go. It's this thing. This thing's unbreakable? Eh. Well, Gotrek, do your job. I'm just gonna blow a bunch of skills on it. And there we go, let's hit him. Where is some of the melee stat skills that I ignore? Let me buff him up for no reason. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad they added the mechanic. It's a little bit too sensitive. And also, if you're playing as Aislinn, it's kind of weird that they added that mechanic when they introduced Aislinn, because Aislinn, you do not want to recruit the legendary lords. You actually want to play Aislinn as kind of like the descriptive term that I use is like a parent like chaperoning his retarded disabled children. Because like the AI is stupid and the AI really doesn't handle you giving them a bunch of settlements, right? But you can like help them conquer the world by like just sheer force of just giving them a bunch of settlements. So man, I'm dealing with someone who's telling me straight up in my comments like um like I'm playing with someone who's telling me that like, oh, Skaven can't destroy their cities and rebuild them at a higher tier. Just like yeah, they absolutely can. Like, there are some people in these comments, like there was a guy who was trying to argue with me that warp fire throwers were not good. Oh, it's like, warp fire throwers aren't good. Like, you clearly 80 resolve, 80 auto resolve 80% of the time. It's like, I think most people auto resolve 80% of the time. I'm willing to die on that hill. B, warp fire throwers are good in auto resolve, and they are also good on the campaign map. Warp fire throwers are just really good in general. Stupid comments. I like that on YouTube you can you don't block someone, right? You hide their comments if they're getting too annoying. And that way they still watch. They probably still write. I don't know if their comment counts, right? But they still watch your stuff because they don't realize they're blocked. So it's like engagement is still there. still watching, and I probably hate watching and hate commenting and all those things. So it's like, it's funny. I find that like, especially if I have to go on Reddit for whatever reason, I tend to block very, very liberally. I think it is really important for your mental health on the internet, on pretty much anything you do. Yeah, is like, whenever you use the internet, my advice to pretty much anyone is like, block excessively. No, I don't use Reddit, like, look, I use Reddit for two things. If you have a very niche question you need to ask, you go to whatever subreddit specializes in whatever that thing, and yeah, Total War subreddit. I find that Total War Warhammer is way less toxic. But yeah, Total War, it is a toxic shit show. I agree with you. But like, imagine you have like an antique or something, right? And you need like information on it. I find that like, you go to the right place and like, you can find a surprisingly like, you know, if you go to like the right Reddit for the specific niche topic you're looking for and you're looking for information, it's a very good place to go to. The issue is you also get like the Redditors being Redditors. So for example, I bought this like collection of wooden trains for my son. And it's like, there's like 200 like wooden like Thomas the Tank Engine. I have a shelf and shelf them. I got them for $50. It's like, yeah, great. Okay. But then it's like, I was like, some of them look like 40 years old. And I'm like, okay, some of these have to be worth some money because I'm very used to like buying and selling stuff to like make a profit, like toys. So it's like, I'm gonna go ask them like, which ones of them are the like valuable ones? And, like the entire time, I just have to go to, oh well, you shouldn't sell them. You should give them to your to my son. It's like, you can see the pictures. There's like 200 of them. If I can sell one of them for $50, and I got the answer out of two of them. It's like, some of them are actually worth like $50. I probably should sell them at some point, right? And I can make my money back on the toy. Then I can buy more like tracks and like, you know, like the wooden trains. So like, you know, the tracks and stuff, and like maybe some of the special buildings to give him some landmarks to like push to. He's not quite at the age where he pushes the train. So I bought him a electric locomotive, and he kind of like watches it go around the track, and he finds that really interesting. So I'm kind of glad I got that for him, because initially I wasn't sure that he would find that interesting, but he really engages it, which is great. Okay, this is definitely gonna be a hell of a fight. I think this is definitely gonna provide me with a great last fight. But yeah, then the other thing that I got onto is my great grandmother died a few years ago, which sucks, but she actually had ivory. And there was a dispute between all of her children as to like, you know, how do we split things up, and how do we value this, and how do we value that, and blah, blah, blah. And like, so I go to like, what's this worth? Or like antiques, and I'm like, what is this? And like, I had a bunch of people, well, it's worthless because you can't legally sell it. And it's like, that doesn't mean it's like, that doesn't mean it's worthless. Just because you can't legally sell something easily does not mean it's worthless, fuckers. Just one of you give me the correct answer, please. Because like they like some of them, and I got the answer, but like there are some cases like, fuck, this is just frustratingly boring, right? To just deal with. And yeah, Reddit is a shithole. Don't engage with Reddit. And if you ever get in this, like, mods are the most annoying little shit shows. I was living in like Japan life, and I asked, like, I did something wrong once, I forget what it was exactly, and I got banned out of like r/living in Japan or something, and it was like, okay. And then I talked to mods, was like, I think this was a mistake, so I just write to one mod, and then another mod contacts me, he's like, do not harass me and my staff ever again. You will never be accepted back into our group, and you know, you can go harass other people. And it's like, oh my god, you know, I can't believe these people do this for free. Like, endlessly. It's like, you know, Reddit mods are everything Reddit mods. Like, the stereotypes are true. They're justified. They're 100% correct. I'm not going to deal with the artillery because I want them to shell, like, their units. I'm hoping that they're just going to open fire on... Because see, they're locked in on this guy, right? Yeah, they're going to do it. This is beautiful. Look at that. He's repositioning. Please reposition and take the shot. Ah, he stopped. That was annoying. Yeah, I'm getting into trains. And yeah, I'll get him into Star Wars, and I'm gonna get into Warhammer at some point, or at least strategy games. I'm gonna do all of those things. Nerf guns too. All those things like I enjoyed as a kid. Oh, I got them. So the nice part about Japan, right, is you can get all of the Pokemons, like Pokemon games, like the ones I grew up playing as a kid. You can get them for really cheap. Is 2 Skaven armies for Kugev armies a good trade? Depends what was in your Skaven armies. Generally speaking, you should have a good time beating Nurgle as Clan Eshin, because like you're running around, you're trying to avoid combat, right? So in theory, you can outpace him. You should be able to outpace him. Like, you shouldn't be trading, you should be winning. Okay, if it's just a trash stack, then yeah, it's a good trade, but like, if you want to fight it out manually, it's probably a really easy fight, generally speaking. But yeah, like, so what I was saying is like, Japan had all of the Pokemon stuff that's really expensive in like Western Europe or whatever, is really cheap here. So I've collected all of the Pokemon games. Now I learned that DS games, you can't switch them language. With a 3DS game, you can just switch the language around and just, like, you can just switch the language around and then just play the game like that. But it's not quite that easy with DS games. You do have to like, we are getting hit. 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Back up, back up. I'm gonna get one of my healers onto the point. You can like, obviously he'll speak Japanese. I hope so. That's not a big deal for him, but for me is like, I own 1 physical copy of every game, so that way I can feel morally okay about the fact that I'm still pirating all of them and I'm playing them. I've downloaded them onto my 3DS, which once again, 3DSs are another thing that are like dirt cheap in Japan. It's really nice. Okay, we are losing Gelt, we are losing Gelt, we are losing Gelt, we are losing Gelt, we are losing Gelt. You, wizard, heal, now. Oh, I completely missed. I need to do a different spell. There we go, cancel that. So yeah, like, oh, there's Miao Ying. What the hell is she doing over there? Your army's dying, lady. I'm not sure what she's doing. Well, I mean, I hope so, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. It's like, a lot of like the stuff that I grew up with is like really cheap here. So like all of the DS games and stuff like that, he's definitely gonna grow up playing that just because like, you know, it's obviously still a thing here. Obviously, and like, why not? Like, they're good games. Like, especially the older games are very good games. So I recently played for Pokemon Platinum again just for myself, and it's like, this shit's still very good. It's not just like nostalgia goggles or whatever. Like, Pokemon Platinum holds up. I will die on that hill. It's not a very controversial hill. It's like, oh, I'm picking the most popular Pokemon game and I'm saying it holds up. But it does hold up, so I'll stand by that decision. It's like, it is a good... Let me just make sure that nothing is dying, because some units are getting beat up. So I need one... something's hitting my healing wizard. Oh. Where is he? Camera's not locking in on him. Oh, what are we doing on the ground? I think we're gonna move. We're gonna move too much. I don't want them to... No, damn it. Okay. Let me heal. The good news is by healing with a healing wizard, right? I'm doing passive healing somewhere else. So, which is good. Let me make sure this guy doesn't die. Gotrek, can you go assist? Oh my god, they are just trying to kill me. Point blank shot. Luckily it doesn't do anything. Okay, that probably has been hurting for a while. He takes very little, he's very tanky. But that's probably not good to just sit there and tank shots. Let me keep kill. I wanted to kill her with Gelt, but she's not really giving me much of a choice right now. We need to actually kill things, because right now we are taking a lot of damage. Where is... That's the other thing that I don't enjoy Doom stacks like this, where like I have to micromanage. I love just like having a Jezzail stack as Ikit, right? And then you just like press start game, and then the enemy army dies. You like, obviously maybe you have to like change targets once in a while, but most of the time it's like, it's pretty easy going in terms of like what you have to do for the results you get. This one I actually like have to micromanage every little part of this army. Select the 2 damage wizards, do that. Select one of my healing wizards is down. Great. Oh, he might actually be like dead. No, he's not quite dead, but he is not having a good time. I need to be healing. No, I missed. I just completely missed targets. Let's just adjust. You have melee stats probably, by the looks of him. Let me just do that. Let me blow this. Let me turn on skirmish mode for him. Yeah, that was a good cast. Let me keep. I'm gonna do some cheap cast as a life wizard to just heal everything. And then I need to do dwellers below here. And then let me do my death wizard casting on her. Okay. And then life wizard heal on Gelt. We just need to like stabilize this. But yeah, like he's definitely gonna grow up. But yeah, the trains, I used to like trains as a kid, and yeah, we're definitely doing all of the autism stereotypes. Trains. I've downloaded Pokemon for him. I don't like paying for, so in my defense, I actually owned the DVDs as a kid. So technically, it follows my rule of like I don't mind pirating something as long as I physically own one copy of it. So I've owned Pokemon before. So instead of like trying to get all the DVDs, which would be kind of, it's more difficult more than anything, because I don't think you can physically buy a lot of them anymore. Like these days, you like physically have to own a streaming service to like get a lot of these things. It's like, okay, I don't mind putting all of them on a hard drive now, and I can live with myself morally. I'm not going to lose any sleep over my thing. Now, obviously, doing that in Japan is a little bit of a no-no. I had to be very careful because, you know, Nintendo doesn't like you doing that kind of action with their with their property. Which, to be fair, I don't entirely blame. And I'm sure the Nintendo lawyer wouldn't see it the same way if I explained my logic of like, well, it's not really because like, oh, I bought your DVDs once in a while. So I'm being more careful with that. But all in all, he's gonna grow up. He's gonna grow up playing a lot of the stuff I used to grow up with, and I'm very happy with that. Because like some stuff from your childhood is like, Beyblades, for example. Like my brother got really into Beyblades. I'm not convinced he needs to experience Beyblades, but like there's other stuff from your childhood. It's like, damn, that was some good stuff. And once again, it's not only like just like here's something, like some stuff is just better like when you were a kid. And also like I have less of an issue with like him growing up playing something like Minecraft, right, than I would with him like playing, as much as I play Fortnite once in a while, and I do enjoy. I'm not one of like, Fortnite's stupid. Like Fortnite is fun. It is an enjoyable game. I'm not gonna sit there and just be like, you can play games, because realistically he's gonna have to play games. But I'd rather he play Minecraft or something where like you actually like have a sense of achievement. You build something when you play Minecraft, right? You play Minecraft and you have something to show for it at the end of it. When you play something like Fortnite, or even like whatchamacallit, when you play something like Overwatch or one of those kind of games, like there's nothing to like show for it at the end of it. Like you don't progress. Like you always are in the same state, effectively, if that makes sense. You always start like each game with nothing, and you always like rebuild, and it's very good for like forcing you to replay, but it's not very good if you actually want them to like feel like they've achieved something. It's like I look forward to like bullying my son because he doesn't understand how type matchups work, and I'm gonna bully him with like really weak Pokemon, and he feels completely superior about it. It's gonna be very fun. But I think that's a good moment, because like some of my best memories when I was a kid was playing like Pokemon with my brother. So I think we've definitely lost something. I feel like my army is smaller than it was when I started. I just don't know what I lost. I'm getting shot at. That's the thing that hurts, is like their long range like Jezzail's units are still hurting me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that. I think and then, once again, at some point, we definitely lost. I think, no, the wizard might have left. Yeah, I think he left the field. I don't think he died, did he? I think he only left the field. So yeah, it's like training like someone to play game, breeding someone to play games with you is definitely your solution to many problems in life. Ulrika is gonna die. Ulrika needs to be magic blasted. And then let me I'll wait for that to... I hate that you can't multi-cast. Like, I understand that you don't want it to cast at the same time, but you should be able to, like, load up a cast. So while it triggers, then afterwards I line this up so I don't have to micromanage it afterwards. Where is my life wizard? Okay, he's healed that. We will heal Ulrika. So it's like... I don't know. As much as I enjoy playing it, look at me streaming now. I'm not sure esports is the most... Maybe I'm becoming a more aging parent as I go. I'm not sure esports is the most productive thing in the world. But look, if he's good at a game, why not, right? The issue is like getting competitive at any game is becoming harder and harder, like competitive games, because like it's becoming increasingly easier to cheat. Like various hacks and stuff are getting easier, right? So yes, no worries, no worries. As I said, I'll be streaming on Thursday evening, Europe time. So that'll be the next stream. And I think I'm actually going to start like putting up a schedule on YouTube. I need to like do that. So if you're watching on YouTube, like you'll actually see the announcement. I just need a cheap, I just realized I need a cheap cast as him to like get the healing, the passive healing. So yeah, have a good night. Have a good night. I appreciate you stopping by, seriously. And same with you, Tarny. Same with Ali, though I think he might have left. And same with you, Hixie, though I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah, or anyone else watching. So like anybody else, but yeah, thanks for stopping by, Neil. And good luck on uni. Sucks because when is the break? Is it at the end of this week your uni break? I would assume so, right? Ah, hey Hixie, I'm glad you're still here. No problem. I know that like addressing lurkers, so like addressing it directly is a bit of a faux pas. It's funny because like I can see it actively on YouTube. It's like when I talk to the lurkers on YouTube, because you know YouTube gives you a graph so you can see your viewership, and like I can see the graph actively just dip the moment I actively address lurkers. So I know it's a faux pas, but I think everyone. Oh, so we lost two heroes. We lost the captain. The witch hunter. I didn't even notice I lost him. Oh well, it doesn't matter. As I said, we're just finishing up. This is more like we've won. I've definitely won at this point. So yeah, addressing the lurkers is a faux pas. It's not good. It's not good manners, I guess. Like not good Redditism, whatever we want to call it. I'll just double down. You know, if I'm not going to lose a single entity, I'll just manual. That's surprising because you know the AI has a hard time with wizards. The AI does not handle wizards very well. Like the calculation of a wizard power level, the AI does not do that real goodly. I think this is going to be a really fun final fight. My army is really not good for what they have, so it's kind of going to be a challenge because I have 3 Hellstorm rocket batteries, and Hellstorm rocket batteries is not what you want against ogres. Now I'm pretty sure I could just piece out the ogres by like just giving them something. I could give them like one of these cities up north and I could piece them out. But let's have a good final fight for the final, let's have a rough fight for our final matchup of this stream and of this playthrough. So let's win it. Yeah, let me just build I don't know why I do it. I guess it's because the game prompts me to, right? I don't know why I'm bothering to build economy when I'm actively about to like finish this. Okay. Ooh, do I even like, here's the thing. Do I even bother trying to shoot down the chickens? Because the chickens and the dogs are going to dive bomb my artillery. But like, do I particularly care? I think I do. I think I do. Let's try to play this real properly. Because technically, losses don't matter because once again, end of the stream kind of moment, right? But let's act like this is a serious fight. Let's not just go unga bunga stupid mode. We have a good map. I see a beautiful choke. I see a beautiful corner to camp in. I know that like some people are against the corner camp and it's a bit unsportsmanlike and cheesing and blah blah blah. In my defense, technically this is a natural corner. It's not like I'm using a map corner. I'm just using a valley corner. So, and this is such an open map. This is nice. Yeah. Look at this right here. We are going to be positioning ourselves right up there, guns up on that hill. Then in theory, we should be able to shoot down any chickens long before they get to me. So, Ixie, if you wanted to see what a checkerboard, I'm not sure I'm going to do a very deep checkerboard, but the reason you put your guns in, or your archers in squares like this is if you make your unit into a straight line like this, and I tell it to go shoot at something like over there, then what it will do is the whole line will shift. And that takes a long time to do. If you put your guns or your archers in little squares like this, they can rotate relatively quickly to change shooting angles. Not perfectly, because the AI likes to shuffle around a little bit when you tell it to change targets, but overall, you'll have a better time. And the other reason why the line is staggered like this is, as I said, we're fighting ogres, right? We're fighting ogres. So ogres are very big, so it's going to be very good. And that is also always, when you're using gun units, always double check your shooting angles. This one is not going to be able to shoot at anything. So actually, we're going to need to like adjust that slightly. So, but if you do this, when the front line gets hit into melee by ogres or by anything else, this guy will be able to shoot from the side and hit it in melee. Same with like the unit over here. And that's the advantage of the checkerboard. Now with archers, it's less of a big deal because archers can like shoot over, but just act like that, and it's a good habit to get into for anything. And also there's still advantages to being on the side of a unit, even if you're playing archers and you don't really care. I think we're going to move back further up in a second, and then we'll readjust the whole position. I have my Luminarch, which is going to be very useful, and I have my Landship, which is less useful. Actually, I'm just going to undo everything I did. I think we're going to hold this hill here, because I will have a much wider shooting angle from there. I think we're actually going to adjust. It's not always better to be in the corner. Technically, there's defensive advantages for being in the corner, right? But I think we are better off just straight up taking this hill. And then we have the slope, because the slope is also something you want to look at. There's many things you need to consider when you're using guns or archers. Let me just rebuild that. Now, once again, by being not in the corner, I have to worry about flankers much more. So I am going to position a few guns to the side like this, just like different angles, because the AI, what the AI is really good at, to be fair, is like as much as me and like everybody else who's played against the AI likes to shit on them for. The AI is really good with flanking. If the AI has a dog, you better believe that dog is going to come behind you and try to jump your guns. Absolutely going to happen. So it's like, that is the one thing the AI can do. And yeah, the radiation here is atrocious, but you know what? So is their expected lifespans in this battle, so they won't die from radiation. Also, if they mutate into like a chaos spawn, that would help their combat ability. I'm going to be honest, you know, like, imagine how much faster you can reload with a third arm. Nobody ever thinks about that, you know? I have ammunition. Yes, I do have ammunition on for the artillery. But just fire at will, man. We can afford to like just inefficiently unload on them. It does hurt, right? Because this is still Empire artillery, but like this is not doing as much as it should because this is large single entities. Do I want to waste? I have 28 shots. Yeah, we can. I think we're gonna run. They're gonna hit me in melee before we run out of ammo. They are definitely gonna hit me now. Here is our anti-flanker on the. This is our anti-ground flanker. Now we are shooting at the Lord. I think. Let's not do that. As much as I saw, let's wait a few seconds. Let's begin. Let's shell this. Yeah, we are worried about the chickens. The chickens are the main issue. So we're just gonna adjust and prepare for their arrival. They are in range already? Ah. Shoot at that, please. I have my Luminarch, so I can pin a unit in place. Let me engage that in melee. No, shoot the dog, shoot the bird, shoot the birds. See, they turned relatively quickly. Not perfectly, because this is still this game, but relatively faster than you'd expect for, like, it's not a full line. Let's, the bird, shoot the bird, shoot the bird, shoot the bird, shoot the bird, damn it. I have a debuff, speed debuff, too late. So yeah, they're gonna make it a little bit. We'll get those birds at least. Luminarch. Shoot at him. Steam tank. Engage that. There we go. We got those. We got that front out. How are we doing over there? I think we got them. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Ow. 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 That's a oh, it's those blood belchers. Okay, you go. Yeah, they're gonna hurt. I can't shut them down for a while. Okay, we should shut them down with the tank. You, shoot at that too, please. I should have paid attention. We've been definitely blowing some stuff up. Okay, they have more lead belchers, so I'll have to focus fire that in a minute. How are we doing? This is going very well so far. We've definitely defeated most of the first army. I find land ships to be really disappointing. Have I mentioned how much I hate land ships? Now it's not complete. Oh, no, they have flankers. They have flankers. Don't readjust completely. Go. Engage that in melee. Oh, wow. Why are you two moving up? Don't move up. You know, I was saying this is going relatively well. I take that back. They've hit the lines. And that's what ogres do. Where are my artillery moving forwards? You know what? Screw it. They've moved. I don't have time to readjust them. Engage. Engage. Shoot that. I probably should have turned before boosting. But there we go. We boosted. There we go. Yeah, we're done. We're done. Readjust. Reposition. Let's headsman Vat. Let's kill him. Let's boost my melee stats. Where is my steam tank? Okay, not where he should be. I wonder if I could win this. I wonder, like, I always have those moments when I'm losing. It's like, can I beat this? I feel like I could have. Maybe I should go back in the corner. And then not have, like, certain units run up ahead. Because I think I got... Let me try this again. I think I can win this. I'm saying it doesn't matter. And I have 10 minutes to win this fight. I have 10 minutes to win this fight, and that'll be it for today. Let's see if we can just get a clean victory in. Let's try the original position I was eyeing. So let's actually go into the corner. And then we can use my free holding units to actually hold. So let's get right up on the hill. And then let's position myself up here. We need to be careful about those lead belchers. We're gonna shell the lead belchers. That's a priority shelling. What happened to you? Okay. Let's try to make this work. We're gonna shoot those chickens before they get into line. We're gonna shoot those. Make sure that we are prepared for an attack from this side. And I'll take these behind the gun so they can use the hill. Okay. Everybody readjust. You know what? They won't react for a few seconds at least. I can use it to bait a unit. Let me try to take one shot. Oh, I'm way too forwards. I hit him. Another one? Another one? I'm getting greedy now. Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. Worth it. Pull back. I'm gonna use the Luminarch as a holding unit. I actually did some yeah, once again, against specific units, Luminarchs of Hysh are incredible. But most of the time when you're playing Empire, you tend to be on the ogre's good side. I could piece out the ogres now. I'm just not doing it because I want something to fight. But like, you don't need to fight ogres, and you very rarely fight the greater demons, as I mentioned before. So like, you don't, like the units that you'd want to be fighting with a Luminarch, you just don't end up fighting. And honestly, like, Hellblaster volley guns also do, for specifically against like ogres, they don't have like the magic damage. So Luminarchs are good against like demons, right? Because they don't have like, here's my priority target. I'm gonna shoot the Vos the moment they get in range. Like demons have all this physical resistance, so like the magic damage from the Luminarch is beneficial. Where with some other, like, it doesn't matter so much. Yeah, so if they're just gonna let me shoot at them, you know, I'm gonna take a risky gamble. Nah, they're not in range. Pigback Riders, we do care about trying to kill that. I mean, nah, you know what, I'm wasting my time trying to shoot at those with this. Let me just reposition slightly. And let's just... There's the reinforcements. Oh, no, we need to shoot... No, that's not the... where are they? Where are the lead belchers? I lost track of the lead belchers, that's not good. They're here somewhere. Then they're behind the... Yeah, there we go. We found the lead belchers. Let's make sure those things don't get out. Things don't shoot at me. Now let's go. Let's go. Melee that. Straight away. Let's take a pot shot at those chickens. Moving Ironsides resets their skill. Their, like, ability to, like, hold better. But I think we're gonna risk it. Let me hold. Let me freeze them in place. There we go. That's deleted. Let me delete that and let me fight this. There we go. That's dealt with. One set of flankers dealt with. Good, good, good. We're shooting at the lead belchers. We're doing... This is going much better so far. Now, I jinxed it last time and I'm jinxing it this time. But so far, it's going well. Let me take the Luminarch back and let me put it back over here. I know I was just saying I was going to use it as a holder, but I still want to be able to shoot with it, and I won't be able to do that if I position it the way it's positioned right now. So yeah, you want to keep your non-Ironsides immobile because they get a passive benefit from being, like, stationed in a specific spot for long enough. So shifting them to, like, shoot at something else is not ideal, but sometimes you just have to, right? There we go. Kill that pretty quick. Is that the Gutsman? No, it's just the Eshin Man-Eater. Either way, he's dead. He won't make it. Now let me lower the speed. Ah, the Vultures are dead and the Eshin's dead. I don't need to lower anything speed. Let's go fight. No, I don't even care. Let's not fight. Let's fight this. Once again, I have the slowing effect from him. Where are they even going? I'm not complaining that they're being stupid, but I once again, it kind of breaks the illusion sometimes. You have those moments when, like, the AI is being so stupid, it's like it doesn't feel like you're playing against something competent anymore. You're just playing against, like, an idiot. There I have those moments. For me, it's quite common, unfortunately. We are holding much better so far. Where is... Oh, he's somewhere he shouldn't be, right? Yeah. We don't want him to be... You don't want to be fighting without the support of the guns, because ideally we want him to hold while the guns are laying into units, right? Where are those ogres going? I am not sure, but... Sometimes you just have to live with it, I guess. Luminarch. Take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. That is a wizard. He's getting in the way. Let's get him back there. No. Let's... No, they won't make it. I'm gonna bully the wizard. I have my slow on Bruckner, and I'm gonna use that when something makes it. There we go, we've engaged you. Oh, ow. Holy crap, that hurt. Did I think I shelled my own men. That's not the wizard. That's me. That's definitely me. That feels like that was me. Could be the wizard. How much damage did that guy do? 6,000? Okay, it could be the wizard. I'm not sure. The fact that it could be me and I'm not sure is already a problem. I haven't been paying attention. I wish, like, the, like, don't fire at your own men, like, was a little bit stronger sometimes than it is. We've lost the front lines. Let me try to chariot around my... Let me try to chariot around a little bit more. Let's try to Wizard Lord. Yeah, I think we are reaching the point where I want to reload. I want to boost that. Let's boost Vist. Very good. Let's just reload what we can. Let's go back and fight. Okay, can we win this? No. I think it's not looking so good, I'm going to be honest. Let's pin that, and let's take a shot, take a shot, take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. I think he is obstructed. Let's reposition them over here. These gunners on this side are holding very well. Bruckner's doing his job. There's some these, we need to kill that. Let's reposition. Let's make sure they're shooting. Yeah, they are shooting, okay. for what it's worth. Yeah, we're going down with the ship. I think this was definitely a much better performance. But yeah, we haven't even gotten through all their units yet. We are gonna lose that. Let's boost this. Belchers, let me try to charge them. Is he unbreakable? Yeah, he won't break. Okay. Neither will the steam tank, because it's a steam tank. Yeah. So, for all of you watching on YouTube and for everyone on Twitch, thanks again. I think we've definitely reached the end of this campaign. Once again, at this point, I can win. It's just like, I just pump out armies and we've won, right? So, it's kind of the end of things. I think we've reached a good point. We achieved the target. We definitely built up the Gelt. And yeah, once again, come watch on Thursday. We'll be playing Old World HammerCon, and that's definitely going to be like, once again, Old World mod is really cool. It's intense on the computer. If it gets a bit too intense on the computer, we might have to like go back to traditional. I think it'll be fine. At least I hope it'll be fine. He's not gonna kill them all, is he? Nah. I mean, we're taking very slow damage, but we are taking damage. He's only got 15% resistance. Yeah, but he's immune to like contact effect, which is pretty good, right? I don't think we're making it out of here. I think he is very much gonna die. We're just watching him bleed out slowly. But thanks to everyone. I appreciate. Feel free to like, subscribe, all the usuals. But I suspect if you're watching on YouTube, you already are. For those of you watching on Twitch, I am on Max in Japan YT, and I make a lot of Total War content. If you're here for that, thanks for watching.